Alright everybody, nobody's in the room yet, that's fine and dandy, but we are starting the show. This is for the people on YouTube. Bright blessings and happy day after Beltane. I hope it was good for everybody. And I have a couple of friends of mine sitting here this morning who are practicing within paganism. One of them is a new baby witch, and one of them is been on her path for probably a year or thereabout. And then of course there's just me. And I've been practicing for about 34 years. And that's all kosher because now we have different different possibilities of what we can actually talk about and pull this shit together for you guys. So when
Nicole! Good morning, beautiful.
So whenever we can pull this shit together and any of our regulars would pop in the room, and I'm sorry, I didn't advertise this out 30 minutes in advance like I usually try to do. Good morning, Nicole. How are you doing? There's my Nikki. She is always here. And there is Freaky Unicorn.
Morning, Freaky Unicorn.
So
I see these people all the time.
now we are seeing some of our good regular people that are always here, always try to be here anyway. And like I was saying before you guys rolled up, these guys are new practitioners, one of them for about a year and the other one just starting out. And so we have different levels of practitioners sitting here that you can ask about their experiences. Ask them personally. I'm sure they don't mind answering, you know, because they're going through a lot of the same things that you guys have, just starting out on their pathways. You know, one of them like for a year and the other one for a couple of months, perhaps.
Not even
a couple of months.
Because I didn't really tell her or share with her what was happening. She didn't realize what I was actually doing. Because I didn't want to put that out there for my kids. I wanted them to choose their own path, not because I was doing it or because they were raised in it or forced into it or anything, but my kids are really just coming out whether I like it or not. I mean, they're very
open-minded,
yes,
and born kind of semi-spiritual.
Well, I have a daughter who's actually practicing Wicca and has actually been doing it for a long time. She hasn't gone through the elevations and all of that stuff, and she hasn't joined a coven.
The dedication or the initiation,
right,
whether in a solitary practice.
I think she did get initiated.
Huh?
I think she did get initiated.
Well, then she's pretty much up there. How long has she been practicing?
She has been practicing since she was 17, and now she's 27 this year.
So she's been in there a while, about 10 good years.
She was my Beltane baby. She was born yesterday.
Beltane baby.
She was a Beltane baby.
It's Nina.
And tell her I said happy birthday.
I will. She's
and
my
Nina,
firstborn.
Nina is the Beltane baby.
Your sister Nina, the one I read about
yes.
not long ago.
Oh.
But we won't go into all of that.
No, we won't.
Because that's her personal business.
That is, right.
Okay, but no, it can be a pretty long pathway getting where you want to be within spirituality, no matter what pathway you're studying to go down. And, well, mine was a very, very extensive path because, well, I mean, I started out from newborn to age 18 in Christianity, 4 years of that studying to be a non-denominational minister. Okay, and then from there taking up the witchcraft path as soon I was through with the studies and becoming a minister and fulfilling that.
Good morning, Siren.
Finishing up the ministerhood, you know, within Christianity, I immediately took up the witchcraft path. And that was my base path. And then I added to it Wicca because I felt a bit more spiritual than just witch. And you have to realize, and a lot of people don't know, that witchcraft is more a lifestyle. And you do this when you feel like it and how you want to do it, not listening to anyone else for the most part, and things fall in place. Where in Wicca, we're talking about more spiritual.
Yes,
I'm going to
Nicole,
cast
I
up
agree
the
with
circle,
you.
I'm going to say my prayers, and I definitely have a pantheon where within witchcraft you may choose not to, or you may choose to. And so, I mean, everybody is different, and you can formulate your own path, and that's what I highly encourage here, is to make your religion your own. Otherwise, you're not going to stay with it. You're going to change it out like your drawers every day.
Right. My kids say, they ask me, my daughter, the one that is more, had been following the Wicca path, she asked me, she said, well, what are you? I said, elemental. You know, it probably closer to like a hoodoo type thing where I do a lot of candle magic. I do a lot of
kitchen witchery.
Sort of, yeah, because there's lots of herbs and stuff like for me.
Pots,
Absolutely, and
with intentions behind it.
I lots of oils and things like that, and then I take those and I anoint my candles, of course, just like everybody, and I just
perhaps engrave it when you feel like it.
And guides, guardians, ancestors, angels, and then, you know, sometimes I'll say in the name of Jesus Christ, just because I feel to, and so because I have a deep Southern Baptist roots.
Well, I mean, it's okay. You can use Jesus Christ, and that's something we haven't talked about. Using deities of the Christian or Catholic pantheons, you know, which are the same, but the practice is somewhat different.
I just called on Archangel Raphael the other day.
Yeah, but I mean, there's nothing wrong with that.
Right.
Use, actually, one of my own deities, and most people that watch the show know I call on Diana, Cernunnos, Isis, Osiris.
Do.
The Green Man, the Green Lady, Adonai, and Manu.
Yeah.
Now, when you get to Adonai, you're talking about a battle aspect of the Christian God.
Okay.
And actually Hebrew, gone Christian, and it's both. If you go back through all of the text of old and all of that, Adonai, or you know, it's said so many different ways. I don't even want to go into that. But you know, I call on a battle aspect of the Christian God.
So a battle aspect being more on the darker side.
Being more on the darker side,
yeah, that's
believe
what
it
I
or not, and that's really good that you brought it up. How when we're talking about death, there's no one more morbid than actually the Christian faith. Those within the Christian faith, sitting there worshiping Jesus Christ that has the nails through the hands, thorns around the head, and telling people they're going to burn in a lake of fire and brimstone throughout eternity by forgiving God they can't forgive. And that's where I have a problem there and stop short, and why I sought out witchcraft in the beginning. After studying to be a minister.
Me. Oh my God, that sounds so much like me.
So,
I won't even have I'll have a cross in my house, but I will not have a cross bearing Jesus thorned and nailed. And
because you don't believe in that. It's too
It isn't even so much that I don't believe in it, so much as I don't want to see it, and I don't want to bring that energy into my home.
Right.
Of
kind of
you
like
being
the crosses.
crucified.
Kind of like the crosses all over the streets where somebody got hit by a car, and all the Christians that want to remind everybody
can feel that
a
energy.
moonstone.
Oh, it's just so sad. I mean, you can feel that when you drive by there. Look, I got chills. I hate that.
But yeah, I mean, and that's there's no religion more morbid than the Christian faith whenever it comes down to it.
Yep.
And I'm not downing the Christian faith. There's morbidity in all faiths.
Right.
You know, and so I'm just talking about one aspect within one pathway, and I respect everyone. Okay, now I want to start talking about new paganism and feelings of where you are, you know, on your pathway. What have you been studying? What have you been reading about? What books? People want to know what kind of books is good when you're beginning.
I haven't necessarily read any pagan books or whatever.
Get a lot of knowledge online. And
whenever I read paranormal romance, which plays into the book I'm reading. The book I'm reading now actually has witches, sorceresses. Pardon my inability to speak.
So is it safe for me to assume that you're just drawing to an interest within your path, really, than having started embarking on it, really?
Yeah, I didn't make the decision to practice really until last night when we were doing our Beltane ritual, which is the first
No,
No.
it's not.
Probably the second.
When you took your ball of energy and you threw it behind you to keep you safe that night, you did it. You definitely did it. So
Okay.
you can't say you're not
So
doing it.
when we
You've
say
been
that
doing
you're
it.
a baby practitioner, then you are really a baby.
True.
Like you're
Yeah.
just newborn
She is.
as of yesterday.
Yeah, she's still in diapers.
So that's something that we really need to pay homage to
I'm sorry.
because in all reality, you know, you've got the entire path to look forward to, and you're drawing to an interest in it by all the oddities around you. You have a lot of spiritual influence around you through your mom and other people, you know, sisters, from what I understand.
Your brother,
And-
reading tarot.
Well, I mean, our whole family is like psychically charged. And we're like
My whole family.
beacons in the fog. I mean, it's absolutely crazy and ridiculous. The things that we've gone through, things that we've seen, everything.
My father did an incredible banishing on as an entity that was
Stupid
actually, my sister, I was 3, and my sister was newborn. And there was an entity that would go into her room every night and slap her to the point you could see a handprint on the side of her face.
Oh, goodness.
An adult hand. So, you know, it couldn't have been me going in there because I was jealous or something. It wasn't that. And I love my new baby, so it was my baby. And so my sister had this handprint on her face. My father went in there and drew a pentagram. He did his little warlocky thing, and the next thing you know, there was nothing in the house. And he told it, do it one more time, and I'll send you somewhere, and you know I can. And guess what? No problems. So my father was something. My mother was definitely something. We read tarot cards my whole
now,
life.
when you say warlock, are you actually saying new or male witch?
Yes.
Okay, because in all reality, the Scottish term for warlock, it means a traitor.
Oh, shoot. No.
So in all essence, a lot of us
was
within
a witch.
witchcraft and paganism, we don't call male witches warlocks.
Okay.
They're witches.
Okay. Well, he was definitely something. Yes.
So that you would know.
No, it's great.
Because we don't want you insulting your family member by saying you
God.
you know
Well,
what,
he's
you're a
gone.
Scottish traitor.
Bless his heart.
Traitor.
Yeah, he's gone now, but he was actually very powerful. You could sense something about him, and my mother was extremely powerful.
Oh, he's not completely
And
gone.
so, I mean, and my grandmother and my grandfather,
So hereditary witchcraft.
absolutely.
And that gives you an edge over me because I was not hereditary,
Oh.
but I was
I do not have an edge
reincarnated
over you.
Huh?
I do not have an edge over you.
Well, no, I mean, because I have been studying for over 34 years just on the pagan pathways.
Right.
But, I mean, you have bloodline as well.
Mm-hmm.
Me, I have history, but it's in reincarnated lives.
Okay.
So that makes us different. I'm a century witch, and you're a hereditary witch.
See,
and
that
I get
sounds
born
better,
every
century witch.
century. I get born every century, sometimes
Oh,
2
wow.
and 3 lives.
Oh, wow.
And so that's my curse and yet my blessing.
Sorry, say.
I've been burned at the stake 2
no.
lives, and I was an inquisitor before that, which would explain why I had to be burned at the stake.
If you don't mind me asking, how did you find that out?
Reincarnate, past life regression on myself.
Okay,
I
we
do
need
that
to do
really
this.
well.
We need to do this. I want to know about that. I
And
wanna do that.
maybe that's something that we could televise
Oh,
for the
that would
show
be so
also.
awesome to do
I think
that.
everybody would love that. But I would have to train you to speak out loud even though you're under and stay comfortable because I hypnotize you whenever I do this. On a conscious level so you'll remember everything
Sure.
whenever you're done.
Right.
But you'll be deep.
Oh,
Trust
wow.
me.
Oh, Lord.
And this has been a while since I've actually done this, but I'm sure the audience and yourself would love this.
Well, I know
And
I
so
want to get
that's
a reading
something.
soon. I need to get that.
And then I need to
next
do a
reading.
cleansing on him, and I could do that for the camera likewise.
Look at all these shows
You know,
you
so
have
these
coming.
all these shows, but you know, I mean, I'm
How
not
come
going to be.
nothing's moving?
And
You
by
mind
the
me
way,
asking?
everybody, that's something I need to say is that I'm not going to be doing these shows every day like I have been.
No, this
The 7 shows a week has been killing me, so I'm dropping it down to 2 shows a week that are actually stationed to be there on certain days. But that doesn't mean that I can't throw out a show surprisingly whenever I feel like it, and just give an advertisement on Facebook, hey, show in 1 hour, show in 2 hours, or whatever.
I'm sure everybody's like me. I get a notification when she's fixing to do something.
Yeah, and I
Absolutely.
mean, so, and
They're
the thing
probably
is I'm
watching,
not
just
only
not
trying to, I'm not only trying to make it better for myself by cutting back on the shows, because I also like to do the private shows with me and the camera and then air it afterward because I can edit it, or I can talk about the things that I've actually studied and not have to focus on all the text here, which will drive you crazy sometimes.
Yeah.
But you know, these are
It's
all
not
shows that
bothering
I
me.
can be doing. You know,
I like the whole thing. I'm actually surprised. I will not ever be doing this myself.
that's
so
true,
I promise.
Freaky. Usually it is a lot busier, and that screen is usually going up like crazy. And it could be quite well that one of our members that likes to talk a lot on there. I'm just kidding, Cindy.
Oh, that's true, because
She
I
is
am
one
actually
of-
Cindy Lou Who,
She is Cindy Lou Who, and you have seen her in the room
and I talk.
texting, and you've seen her talking and giving input also at various times. And
Yes.
Siren says, first time, I'm really early, and no one is commenting something. Sorry.
Well, we're talking our
it's
heads
a little
off.
slow, but we're talking mainly out here, and everybody is probably mesmerized because there's more than just me on the show, or me and Austin on the show for once. We like a little new blood coming through here, and hopefully I can provide that more often. But yes, this is Cindy Lou Who, and you'll see her talking on the text a lot whenever we do these shows, and you've seen her already if you're a regular here. And likewise, please introduce yourself, girl.
Hi. Well,
This
you
is
can
my
call me
daughter.
either one of them. My name's Caitlin, but I do have a YouTube channel, which is Taya the Fae. What's up?
Talk a lot louder if you can, because you're
You
further
gotta
away
come
from
over
the
here
camera.
and talk. Taya the
And so,
Fae. I'm your
this-
mother. I
and
get to
so
touch
let
you
me
forever.
introduce her better in case you guys didn't hear. Her name's Caitlin. She is just taking an interest in the pathway, though everybody in her family is very spiritual. Honey, will you heat
Aw,
my
thank
coffee also, baby?
tea or
Thank our little helper here for getting the coffee together and all of that. Too much fire dancing for Beltane yesterday.
I didn't do any fire dancing. I did a candle.
I didn't do fire dancing. I did a ritual for the camera, and
Mhm.
and that was draining enough for me.
I watched that.
And I felt really good about doing that, although we had a lot of disturbances. And if you go and you watch the revision, actually, if you watch the first taping of that show,
I was wondering why there was two of them.
there are two. One is a revision because I was running it up directly to YouTube as I was creating it.
Right.
That's the really, really screwed up one. Something was messing with all of the electronics and the internet, and I've never had that because we have high internet bandwidth.
I saw that.
It is so messed up. But I looked at the raw file.
Awesome.
I looked at the raw file. Austin is right here. Austin is right here.
Oh, look.
but I
Yes.
looked at the raw file.
Good deal.
He's got to do the
Amazing.
coffee.
That was for you.
But I looked at the raw file on the
Okay.
show, and it was not as messed up. Although you could see something playing with the lights on the new
Yes.
one, the revision that I ran up there, it's still messing with the lights real crazy.
So who
in here.
is trying to get in on your video?
Well, there's always spirits trying to get in on my videos.
Absolutely.
If you go back
Yeah.
and you look at especially my tarot card ones, the older ones,
Mhm.
when I was using my
I watched
older
all of
camera,
them. Mhm.
my older camera loved to pick them up, and they loved more even then to show themselves on my channels.
Oh,
And
wow.
so, also, even on my witchcraft channel, if you look at what's inside of a witch's trunk, it's full of them. Or how to cast a magic circle.
I definitely watched that one.
Yeah.
I haven't watched the trunk one.
And then if you watch the first two videos I did on the how to read the tarot cards, beginning tarot card readings made easy.
Yeah. I
The
read
first
I
two
watched
shows
all
of those, you'll find a big silver orb pass by my arm on one side, as well as a lot of others. And people are talking about it.
Oh,
There were
yeah.
so many spirits
Yeah,
in there.
I've seen them
all
do
up
that.
and down my pages. But, you know, I find it really interesting, the spirit world.
Yeah, I have
Um,
so many spirits in my house. It's ridiculous. I see them, literally see them.
Mm-hmm.
I have walked out of the garage over at Mom's house, and her mother was standing right there, scared the bejesus out of me because I didn't think anybody was in there. And I turned around, and she was standing there. I'm not even joking. She was as plain as you and me, and she looked like a person. And she just kind of looked at me, and she smiled, and she just kind of faded away. And I walked
Alright,
in, and
Nicole.
I explained to her who she was. I was like, who is this person? And I looked, you know, kind of weird, but I went in and I wanted to know who this person was. His So it was kind of funny.
Well, yeah, you always gotta to explore
land.
whenever you find shit.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, I'm big on ghost chasing. I've done that for a long time. I have all the equipment, the EVP machines.
I have some. Do you know
all
that I
that
have
shit.
the EVP stuff and I have all, yeah.
One day we're going to have to find a place in New Orleans, one of those, or Louisiana in general, and find somebody that would rent their house out for a weekend or something.
Oh, girl, are you kidding me?
You know, one of the old closed down manors or something.
Oh.
And then set up there and maybe even do a show on that. Late night with Cindy Lou Who and
Late
you know
night
who.
with Lady Leeanna and scared Cindy Lou Who. Because I would be running around
trying
behind
to-
her going, oh shit, what's that? Oh,
She would be that cartoon character cut out in the wall with somebody making their way away.
I feel them so strongly. I mean, it is just, it's crazy. And I just
Well, here you're going to get that a lot.
I do. I've gotten it several
because
times.
I mean, there was an orb
because
that just
this was
right by there when you were talking about orbs. It was so funny. It's like right. It was like right. I thought it was one of the dots in the ceiling at first, but it went.
Oh,
but
nice.
see, you got to realize that this was a prison over where Tower
what?
Autoplex was.
Lovely.
About two doors down on the other side of the highway.
I'm pretty sure she said prison.
It was.
Did y'all hear prison?
It was the prison. And then this right here was
Bad
the
juju.
no. This is bad juju because
That's what I'm saying.
this right here where we're sitting was the execution
Oh,
point.
of course it is. That's nice. That's
As a
perfect.
matter of fact, there's a hill dugout over there that goes way high in the air that oil well sits on. And they used to execute the Mexican guys along that wall of dirt right there. And so once in a while, I'll be sitting here and they'll be thinking the building isn't here because in their mind it's not.
Right.
When I got this, there was nothing here. I put all of this here.
Yeah, it's the land.
And
definitely,
so the
for
land,
my
they
house,
remember,
Residual
the
energy.
spirits that are on the land remember themselves being on the ground
I have
walking.
plenty of chicken feet.
You know, so you would see them about this high, and the rest of them's underneath the building because they don't recognize the building being here.
Oh,
and
my
so I'll
Lord.
see people sitting here and walking through. Let's see, let's go to the board briefly.
Okay.
Good morning, I'm a new witch and been studying Wicca for a couple of months. Love your show, Lady Leeanna. So I have a question. Did you receive signs at your early stages? Signs of what? As far as psychic, which is what we're talking about, and spiritual energy? Or are you asking about signs that I'm actually a witch or that I should be searching out this pathway? Because in all essence, I was seeking out spirituality all of my life, and I knew I was a leader, but I had to go up through the arenas and rankships of everything and down at least 6 pathways. As most of you know, I've been studying within Christianity to begin with and became a non-denominational ministress. I studied within Witchcraft Wicca and became a 3rd degree Wiccan high priestess in both of those, and then studied in shamanism, druidism, and Buddhism.
That's so funny.
You know,
Crazy.
and so when you're asking me this, I've got to ask, okay, what path are you talking about? Are you talking about spiritual energy or my pathway within within religion and not psychic, etc.? I mean, because that's a kind of a big, varied question, and it can lead toward any of those.
Yeah.
And yes, you do get signs. A lot of them not as predominant as others, and they'll start very light, your signs. But in mine, I actually started getting dreams. And that's how I knew.
dreams.
I had these gods and goddesses coming to me and telling me, hey, there is other things out here and you need to search for it because right now you're living in a closed-minded lifestyle and you're not even liking it. And then I said, you know what? You're freaking right.
That's crazy.
And so I sought it out. I found it, found this whole group of other people, and not only did they set me on the right path as far as where religion is going, but about my life in general, and told me, hey, there's a world out here, and you need to quit living inside the box.
And see, you're my first witchy friend, and I am completely solitary. I don't do, be careful, Caitlin. I don't do anything within a coven. I don't do any of that. I am, I take what I need or I want from
She does a lot of voodoo
everything.
practice,
Very, very voodoo.
but she takes a lot from voodoo.
Yeah. No.
Well, you know, in hoodoo they actually do that. They do the hoodoo that you do.
Yeah,
you know.
I knew you were going to say that. I do that.
You know,
That's
and
funny.
it's fun. I mean, that's one thing you can honestly say about witchcraft and hoodoo.
I do what I feel is
It
right.
is fun
Regardless
because
of
you
what
don't
someone else
have
says.
to live on
I
a
feel it.
clock. You don't have to live
Right.
on a calendar. You do what you feel
I
like
don't.
doing when you feel like doing.
If I get
With-
up and I don't want to do a spell, I don't do it.
And then with Wicca, it's more spiritual religious rather than more of fly by the seat of the pants.
See, I am very spiritual also. So I don't know where I fit in. Honestly, I don't. I've never tried to, keyhole myself to the point that I want to fit into a certain thing. I am not trying to fit into anything. I do what I feel is right. I put whatever herbs I feel like is right. It's just like the other day when we were talking about the eggshells. For you, it's fertility and all of that. And you had one meaning, and I said, and for me, because it comes from my farm, and it encompasses the egg, it is protection. And so if I want to send protection to my children or my grandchildren, I would definitely put eggshells in it, just because they're from my farm. I clean them, I make sure they are as perfect as I can get them, and then I crush them and put them in a powder or whatever I want to do. Just for me, that was how I feel and how I interpreted it, and it was a little bit different for you when you told me what you felt that it was for.
Right.
So,
well, I mean,
fertility,
everybody
I
has
never
their
thought of
own
fertility.
symbologies. Everybody has their own meanings to all the ingredients.
Right.
Or everybody was taught differently by different people in their
Right.
history. But my main point is that when we're talking about Christianity, you've got to do it this way. It's devout. It's set in stone. Follow the book, and there's no room for.
Oh, and don't forget
just
you're going to hell. Let's not forget
Okay,
that.
and then you have hoodoo and voodoo and hoodoo and witchcraft, which are fly by the seat of the pants. There's some light construction there, but it's very light. And then you have Wicca, which is more of a spiritual religious, and it kind of falls somewhere between Christianity and witchcraft. Not that it really is anything like the
Just very
pathway,
different what you do
but the
with it.
ways of following a system is what I mean. That there's some mechanics to it. You know what I mean? And with witchcraft, that doesn't exist. With hoodoo, that doesn't really exist. You just do what you want. So you have different stages there on what you would follow.
Right.
And that's where someone like yourself, and there was somebody in the room that says that they're very new.
Thank you.
Put it in words a little.
I don't know.
Spiritual. It's all kind of spiritual. Animals, and yes, a pathway. Yes, I did get signs, but mainly they were in dreams. And I kind of answered that a little bit ago. But, okay,
would
somebody...
like to elaborate a little on dreams. When Moon Dreamer asked, what does everyone think of dream meetings, I actually discussed this with her the other day.
That's a big topic.
It is.
I
It
had
could be like a whole show.
realized-
That would be a show on its own, and so I really don't want to go into that real deeply on this one. Because I do have a lot of videos on that, and so that's kind of way stepping out of topic. Our original topic was new witchery. I mean, that's what I really wanted to touch on.
So you can
and
come
with
back one
you.
day and talk about dreams.
And what I'm trying to say, and trying not to go into the board all the time because I'm always drawn into that and I can't cover anything. What I'm trying to do is elaborate more on, someone asked about when you're a new witch, and that's what this show is supposed to be about, and so we're kind of denying her this answer, where we're answering everything else or talking about everything else. And so you're the one that can kind of coincide with her on that particular topic.
So she
How do
wanted to
you
know.
feel as a new witch? How do you see yourself? Where do you feel that you want to go with it?
I'm not really sure actually. I know a lot of the things that I do or I've done already is mostly for protection, to help family, and that's honestly what I feel I need to do on my path as a witch. Is I now have a tool that I can use to, when I do finally have children or get married and those steps in my life, I now have the tools that I can use to actually protect them. And not just at home protect them or advice, but I can protect them while they're away. When they start driving, I can protect my boyfriend, I can protect the people that I care about.
So really just using magic for good ends. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
but I mean, okay, do you see yourself practicing a solitary pathway, or do you see yourself finding a covenant eventually, perhaps, or do you not know yet?
I honestly don't know yet. If I had to choose now, I would say I would lean more towards solitary, like my mom.
And would you say that you're going to study mainly in witchcraft, Wicca, or you're going to mix up paths?
Probably
Or
gonna
learn
mix it
everything
up a
you
little.
can?
I'm probably just gonna learn everything that I can, and
Like she did.
yes, and just be, and also
Try different pathways at brackets of times and tie it all in together and become an eclectic spiritualist for the most part.
yes.
I love the way you talk. Did I ever tell you that?
Well,
It's
thank
just the
you.
way
I
you,
appreciate
it just flows right off of her tongue. Like when you do your rituals and stuff, it just comes right out. And me, I'm going, and what I'd like to say is that I want to thank you, and blah, blah, blah. I mean, I'm just like, oh my God, really?
Well, you gotta realize too, I've been an entertainer by nature. My father was a musician. I've been doing not live shows, but shows on YouTube for over 2.5 years. And I sang on stages before that
Oh,
in
for heaven's
bands
sake.
all around, country western music at
I feel like my
first.
deities are going to get bored and leave me before I can say the next thing.
Well, the deities are there for you, so you never have to really worry
Right,
about
I
that
know.
at all.
I would just say it. It's kind of funny because it just, you think about that when you're doing your rituals or you're doing your
But you
your
need
magics.
to learn to let go because that's prohibiting you. You need to
Mhm.
not think about that and say, okay, you know what? I'm calling to my deities. I'm giving them attention and they appreciate that, and you have to know it inside of yourself.
And you know what I want you to do right now with me, please. Yes,
Yes,
that's what I
and
need to
yes,
do.
you do have to still humble yourself.
Yes.
But there's a few times I'll shake a fist at the higher power, and nobody can say that they don't do that and say, why me? Or
Oh.
why the hell can't
Oh,
I have
man.
what everybody else has? Or why, can everybody else take this for granted and I can't? I mean,
Right.
we all get there. We all get an angry streak, and a lot of the times, as spiritualists, the first thing that we'll like to blame is the higher power.
I never do that.
And they know that we're kids and that we screw
Well, I try not
up,
to.
that we're
That's
only
not true.
human.
Yeah.
And so they may give us a slight slap on the wrist or whatever, but they'll forgive us in the long run.
Right. Right.
And we have to realize that. But let's see. So you're aiming toward eclectic spirituality for the most part, and studying different pathways along the way. Have you checked into any books that might be good for you?
She reads online all the time.
Just eclectic knowledge from different people.
that.
You don't ever pick up a book. You read online.
Yeah,
everything.
I have the little ebooks, but I mainly read, like I said earlier, I mainly just
Little
read
bits and
paranormal
bobs that you
romance.
find,
It's just,
and
any knowledge that I do get, I either get from her or I do what everybody else in the universe does. And if you don't do this,
well,
probably
one thing
should
I would
is
like for you to do.
Google it. When in doubt, Google. That's what
when
she
in
does.
doubt, Google it.
One thing I would like for you to do is, if you could, find you one book on witchcraft, one book on shamanism, and say one book on Buddhism. Because you're going to incorporate, I don't care
love
what kind of
Buddhism.
what kind of witch you are. I don't care what kind of Wicca you might embark on, or whatever other path. You're going to tie in certain other effects from different religions. And if you can read a book on each of these, then it will
I've heard
help
that.
you.
I've heard of
Was
that,
that?
too.
The Grimoire.
Of the Green Witch.
The Grimoire of the Green
Grimoire,
Witch.
that's it. The Green
Isn't
Witch.
that the Raven or the Dumb Witch?
Oh.
What is her name? Jarena Dunwich.
Don't ask me.
Is that the book that she did, or is that a different book altogether? Because Jarena Dunwich is a good writer of one particular book there that is basically about green witchery. But there are some good writers there, and if you need any direction, then you can ask me.
I have herb books. I have spell books, which I've not used a single spell out of, by the way. I have, if anything, I combine certain spells. I might look at it to see what I think I feel drawn to, and then I put it away and I do what I think is right. And as far
yeah,
as
you read things once
right.
and then you leave it alone and you
Right.
go into something else and you
Right.
tie it all into yourself.
the
as
most
an
that I have
understanding.
looked at and stuff as far as reading is your stuff, your
Videos.
right, your videos and like your tarot card stuff and all that, because I'm very drawn to that. I did that when I was young and I still like it. So
That's cool.
So,
I mean,
yeah.
there is a lot of information out there online,
Yeah.
and it's free.
it is, yeah.
I mean, you know, the thing is, and if you get on a file sharing program, you know, there's a lot of books that people, you know, will share, but you have to watch out for the files you're getting from who you get them from. But the information out there is very vast, and you almost don't even have to pay for anything anymore. But my favorite book writers
I'll just call Nicole.
Everyone just downloads illegally now.
Oh, Terry.
well, no, this
Sometimes.
is sharing. File sharing is what people do.
Yeah.
Anyway, Raven Grimassi is a good writer.
Jesus.
Raven Grimassi is a good writer. You have Scott Cunningham.
That's the one I was
And
thinking
You have
about.
Jarena Dunwich. You have Margaret Murray. And you have Raymond Buckland and Gerald Gardner. Those are all your good writers. Okay, now you get some that are like, some are going to hate and some are going to love. And there's a fine line between that when we're talking about Silver Ravenwolf and we're talking about Aleister Crowley. You know, and so I can sit here all day and I can tell you the different books and where you draw your fine lines at or what belongs on what side of things. The thing is that there's going to be people in our room that are going to go dark, some of them that are going to go light, some of them that are going to be involved with this. How's it going, Angie? And yes, Raymond Buckland's Complete Book of
Exactly
Witchcraft.
what you just said.
Uncle Bucky's Big Blue Book of Magic is one book that I always ascribe to for all my students kicking off and in their pathways a new beginner.
Well,
And that's
she
what
has
I
the
was going to
hookup.
tell you,
Obviously.
is that you should find Buckland's Complete Book of Witchcraft, because for one thing it tells you a little bit of everything, but by no means does it tell you everything about everything.
Right.
It
right.
gives you a good start.
Right.
And it's a really good book, and it will guide people, you know, pretty far just right off the get-go.
Can I ask you something?
Uh-huh.
Okay, so the other day when I came here and, you know, she was here getting her reading, you said you feel that I am a healer.
Mm-hmm.
What kind, and I really resonate with that, because that seems to be what I do all the time, and I can actually feel it in my hands sometimes, and I just get drawn
Oh,
to
I
do
felt
stuff.
it when you gave me a hug at the door, you know, when we were parting company that day, and you gave me a hug, and you already knew I was having problems, health problems. I felt it. I mean, it was very, very powerful and warming, and this one of two of the best hugs I've ever had in my life. Seriously.
Oh my God, and I could have gave you a better hug than that.
The other one is my best friend Rodney, and I called him my lightway when I was acting as the light gatekeeper within my Sentinel pathway, which
Wow, I
is
don't
a
even know what
protector
that
on the
is.
gateways. There are shows that I could put out here that would blow a lot of people's mind, and it's a Solomonic pathway that a lot of people just would not. Solomonic, King Solomon.
Oh Lord.
King Solomon,
Wow.
and the seals that he actually put forth in the greater and lesser keys of Solomon. And these are seals that would actually, in Caskell, they would actually entrap demons and vessels, including the 72 original fallen angels of God, if you want to refer to the Bible, to prevent them from wreaking their havoc for at least 1,000 years. And there are those of us that are still living, although we were very hidden up until the time they told me it was no longer a secret anymore, and that we could come out because they needed more of us. There are portals breaking out everywhere.
Wow.
And it would blow your mind if you knew all that you did, and it would really frighten you. Why do you think we have more mass murders today?
I probably would be. I thought you meant afraid of you. No.
No.
But I would
no,
be.
I'm a
Yes, I
gatekeeper
would
on the light
absolutely.
side of things.
Yes, I'll be standing behind you when everything goes down.
But remember that for every
Shoot some stuff
gatekeeper
out.
on the light side, there's also a gatekeeper on the dark side. And they work with me, believe it or not, to keep dark things or light things from going into the dark side of things. And I work to keep the dark things from coming into the light side of things.
So you actually were like doing like what you could like make a movie, because like
I could write several books in my
that's what I'm
lifetime
saying.
if
So
I
like
wanted
you were
to.
the gatekeeper, and there was dark stuff trying to get in, and you were there trying to keep it out of the world.
We live in the gray world.
Oh yeah.
Okay, and you have the God system above and you have the God system below. And let's call it that because there are people that call them gods. There are underworld gods and goddesses. There are upper world gods and goddesses. And you have demons that are trapped on one side. And you have angels that want to live
That were
too.
never human.
Angels that were never human that want to.
What about demons? Demons were never
and
human.
there were demons that were never human.
Okay.
And then you have those that were.
Okay.
You have so many different types of angels and demons.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but they want to bleed over into each other's worlds, and especially the demonic world. They want to overthrow Satan, Lucifer, the 72 original fallens, because they feel that they've gotten powerful, and they have, over so much time serving time with them. And the older ones, they're still as powerful as ever, but there's so many that are trying to overthrow them. And so they would have their way and try to climb up and assume the seat of power in whatever world that they would want to. And so there we're dealing with a lot of demons and angels, and you have the gatekeepers that would watch the gateways.
Of what?
You have a dark gatekeeper that protects on that side of the gate, that would protect the portals on that side and prevent as many of them from coming through and up as possible. Or preventing anything light from going down and invading their world if they can. And sometimes I'll invade their world. I have to work with a higher power and go and get somebody that's been sought after or whatever. Or this was the case at the time before
I ain't doing that.
Before I retired.
Yep.
You know, and so it's a really, really big pathway, and there's a lot more to it, more than I could ever possibly cover.
So that goes more
in, say,
into
100
the occult.
shows. That goes more into.
Not really a cult because
you're
doing.
No, it's a pathway, just like witchcraft, Wicca, Buddhism, shamanism, but it is a pathway that's caught between Christianity and paganism. Why? Because I'm having to travel between worlds, between that which is light and that is dark. And I'm having to go back into the past whenever called to obtain a seal or get whatever's needed. And I have to astral project to find out where to put it and where to entrap something. Or draw other covenants and groups in with me at various times so that we could say, okay, this is a bad boy and we need to handle him because he's wreaking too much havoc and everybody's magic is going amok. Kind of like what it is today.
I'm glad my house is protected.
You know? I guess just talking with the new witch.
Oh, it says, what's the topic for today? And what
well,
is it?
I mean, actually, we have 3 different levels of witches here.
Yep.
One that is semi-learned, one that is brand new and not learned at all, but seeking the pathway, and then one that's been there forever. And so the topics, when we open up this room's Coffee with Lady Leeanna, then I am interacting with you.
I don't think they like us.
No, they like you. No, I'm sure she didn't mean that at all. But, anyway, I am interacting with y'all.
She put the little winky face, like, haha, just kidding.
Hmm?
Little winky face down at the bottom.
Right. Anyway, no, she didn't mean anything bad by that. Basically, there is a lot of pathways out there that people don't know about. A single pathway is that which people see.
Thank
I
you.
told you, the
We
people
love you too.
What about asking what their pathway is? Maybe everybody could just, like, a couple of words say what they're doing. Like, are you
I
Wiccan?
know Freaky Unicorn wants to, is like dabbling a little bit in voodoo. And you scroll up a little bit, you'll see that one.
Why do you have that wrench in blue with your name?
Because she's a moderator of the room. When I'm actually talking, and they don't even know it, so they couldn't answer this question. We appointed Nicole as a moderator because she's been with me from the very first day I started live streaming.
Huh?
And she started actually interacting with people and helping me moderate, and I took notice of that. And so I appointed her a moderator. And as a matter of fact, she is our bigger contributor of the show here, our biggest sponsor. She just pledged to donate $13 a month every month, you know, for as long as she wants to do that. And so that puts her in the first running as far as as being, you know, the sponsor, the lead sponsor everywhere. And I'm truly, truly grateful to her as a big sponsor of the show. I'm truly grateful to another sponsor of mine, which is Brenda Kosher, and she visited the channel yesterday
It does seem a little bit
for the
taboo,
first
doesn't it?
time in a while. And then
So that's the second time Freaky Unicorn has said that about being
Yeah.
interested in voodoo as a path, but it seems very taboo and said that before.
it is not taboo, and I'm glad you pointed it out, because like I said, I cannot watch this board all the time
Right.
without forgetting what I was talking about or whatever, and a lot of you guys just really don't understand what I go through and trying to find my place.
I am
on
not
this
on a
board
level,
here.
honey. I am just
You know.
just me. If I can do it, I do it. If I can't do it, find somebody who
Well,
can.
whenever I said level, I was talking about she is just a new studier as of yesterday, and
Oh,
she
no, not
is
even
someone
last
that
night or
has
something.
been studying for a year, and I'm one that's been studying for over 34 years. So when I made a reference to level here, I didn't mean third degree Wiccan High Priestess or Witchcraft High Priestess as I am. I was actually talking
no
about
priestess.
in length of time
Oh.
studying. You know, in length of time studying.
Yeah, I do more hoodoo. I'm very into candle magic, herbs, oils, those types of things.
So really a hoodoo practitioner is what she professes to be, although she's learning a lot of other different
Very
various
solitary,
stuff.
yes.
And she's practicing solitarily and she's probably not even used to titling herself in any
I'm not.
way, form, or
What's
fashion.
My
draconian?
children ask
I've
me
seen this a couple
that.
times actually. What is
Draconian.
Draconian witchcraft or Wicca, that is a different path where they lend homage to the dragons.
She loves dragons.
And I've actually worked
With me
with
on that
them
one.
quite a bit, but I'm not a practitioner myself, and so I would probably have to get a studier on that path to actually interview and give you a bit of information on that. My path is a mix of Draconian and Fey Wiccan and Asian forms, many Asian forms. And I do have Asian forms of magic within my own. If you didn't notice in the tea ceremony yesterday
Yes.
with the gods and
Love the
goddesses,
tea ceremonies.
you noticed that my tea set was actually Asian.
Yes, it is.
Japanese to be more specific. Now I want to pay a little attention to the board here. And voodoo is a bit taboo in a lot of people's minds. However, it's not. Actually, voodoo is the practice of light magic for the most part. Hollywood really bitch slapped all of us around
Yeah.
while we were driven underground, and while all of our paths were considered taboo, then you know, any words that just did not ring synonymous with Christianity, like voodoo, witchcraft, Wicca, whatever,
Pagan.
you know, pagan of any sort within the Western cultures, by the way. And let me specify that, you know, or even some of the scarier ones that are just more mysterious, you know.
Like what?
They like voodoo.
Oh, yeah.
They became just looked at as more taboo just because they were more mysterious and less talked about. Okay? Now,
Isn't voodoo, like, don't they do a little bit more of, like, this, more of a sacrificial type stuff and things like that?
they will sacrifice
Right.
animals. So
Right.
will
And see, I will
Santeria
not.
practitioners.
And I will not.
So will
Or Santeria.
Santeria
Mhm.
practitioners.
That's
and
just
so
me.
will
No,
so
it
will
did not.
and so will Palo.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. These will sacrifice animals. And we can't judge, trial, or condemn them for
No,
that
no,
because
not at
that
all.
would leave us as guilty as Christian
Oh,
practitioners
Lord, I would never do that.
for actually condemning us.
But that's
you know.
just me because I live on a farm and I have a lot of chickens. Now, I say I wouldn't sacrifice. I don't actually sacrifice, but I do sacrifice my chickens for the food for my family.
But that's
So I-
hunting and that's providing.
Pow.
And
Goodbye.
that's one thing that I've
And by the
cleared
way,
up.
I have a lot of chicken feet. Just saying.
But
That's a
that's
good
something
question.
I've pretty covered is sacrifice.
Mm-hmm.
I don't do it either.
No.
And however, I do eat meat. I will eat
Absolutely.
meat because my ancestors ate meat. I am
Right.
a carnivorous
Meat's
bitch.
delicious.
Me too.
And so I will
Bitch.
eat. As far as chicken parts, I'll have them on my altar, but only if, not chicken parts, but animal parts.
Mhm. Thank you,
If the animal has given it willingly or freely, if it's hair or feathers or whatever,
Mhm.
you know, and I feel okay with that.
Mhm. And you see, I use a lot of that. I use the feathers. I use the. If I need to use chicken feet, I would. Wouldn't be surprised if you come in and found chicken feet hanging above my door for protection. Eggshells, those
I know
types
that.
of things. I I don't have a problem with that, and especially if something has already passed, I don't mind using those parts or whatever if I needed to. I just do a lot of herbal stuff, a lot of root stuff, candle magic, those types of things, and I don't invoke unless I had to. I would not
So you
go
use mainly low magic aid unless you have to call on the higher power? Low magic aid is, for those that don't know it, low magic aid is calling on the forces and the energy of the earth to put it into work for you. Where high magic aid is actually calling on the higher power and using a deity.
No, I do both.
You do
I
both.
actually do both.
Well, yeah,
So,
but that's what I was talking
the
about.
same
But I was
time.
I used
asking
to
you
think
to
she was
separate
weird.
what you
Not
were
so much
talking about.
anymore.
Oh, I see. Okay, so I use the lower power aid, but I also use the higher power aid at the exact same time. So I've actually combined them almost into my own type of thing. I don't know. It's just like what my family would have done.
I'm listening to you.
So, oh, you're fine.
I'm
I was reading what you're
answering
writing.
one of the questions here.
Oh.
Let's see, what is
I do
eclectic?
sigil magic as well. I do kitchen witchery, some hedge witchery. Like I said, I've really combined a lot of them. Yeah, I've heard of people getting. I know somebody actually who does the painted chicken feet, and I've not painted them yet. I use them naturally. And I haven't used them in a ritual yet. Not saying I wouldn't.
Yeah, it's she would close herself off in her room for the longest time, and eventually I was like, okay, what are you doing in there? And she brought me in, looks around and goes, are you freaked out? No, I'm not.
And they weren't surprised. None of my children were surprised.
I was not surprised. I was expecting her to come out of her little witchy room a long time ago.
Broom closet.
Boom! Guess what? I
Honey,
expected
will you
her
get
to
the
come
door
flying
and
out of it on her
whoever that is
broomstick.
in it,
Just
and then instruct them
big
to be
pointy
quenchable?
hat and all, honestly.
It's probably your sister.
Oh, it is. Probably, yeah. She's
Anyway,
always
other guests coming in, but not for the show. Anyway, that's how you can get in touch with me through YouTube or Facebook.
Oh, okay.
Let her in.
Hi, sister.
Anyway, so basically, when you're talking about voodoo being taboo or things of that nature, then you're generally getting that from your other religions that are more steadfast about one particular thing and don't believe in actually going into other things.
Do you think
that
that I
are
would be
proclaiming
like
it
an
to be
eclectic-
taboo. I'm trying to hold my focus.
It's okay, I'm sorry. And I'm trying to demand your attention. Do you think that's what I'd be like, an eclectic pagan? Because I'm definitely on the pagan side of it.
I believe that you would be an eclectic spiritualist like I am to a large degree.
Yeah, and that might
We
be-
are pagans. I mean,
Right.
but eclectic spiritualists more than anything because we are bendable and flexible and more toward the light.
And we call on the
you
deities.
know, and we call upon the deities, and that's the religious aspect of what we do,
Okay.
etc. And you know what? I mean, let's put it all in a basket correctly here. We're really not supposed to tag and title ourselves. Tags and titles belong to everything and anything because humans had to have something to associate themselves with or associate that TV with or that car with. You know, somebody had to know what to call it when they're talking to somebody else, you know, and so they had to tag and title it. But let's not tag and title ourselves so readily, okay?
I love sigils.
Because in all reality, don't read the board so much.
Oh, sorry.
We got to stay on topic. Okay, but tags and titles will just really drive you crazy, and especially when you're new and don't know what basket or what mail slot you belong in, then you shouldn't be so quick to do that because you're going to start practicing like they do, and then you're going to do some things that you're going to regret when you get into another pathway that might dictate that that's wrong. And you're going to always have that on your shoulder from now on because you've already gone against your religion before you found it.
Yeah.
You know, right or wrong, good, bad, or indifferent. I mean, that's the way it is. Practice a while, or actually, let me say that right. Study a while before you cast up your first altar, because you're going to screw up before you can call yourself a witch or a Buddhist or whatever. Kill an animal on your altar because you've seen it done, you know. But then later on, you're going to go on a Buddhist path that don't believe in doing that at all, and they'll throw their hands up and say, you know.
You did that?
And you're going to judge, trial, and condemn yourself that on your path forever, and you cannot take it back. Once you do something, you cannot take it back.
That's right.
Like that.
I still haven't written in my book of shadows, not one word. I have not really completed my altar yet. I've got my candles where I want them and everything, but I just have been looking at like my drapes behind it, you know, like my thing, just things, whatever it is. It doesn't matter what it is. I haven't completed my altar, my book of shadows.
But you're a new pagan.
My anything,
I mean,
exactly.
You've been a spiritualist all your life.
And
You've been studying it. It's been around you. Everybody you know basically is a spiritualist.
Right.
Okay, but when we're talking about practice, you've just started really putting all that together over the course of the year, even though you may have done this and then threw it into the fire or whatever before that or whatever on kind of a mundane level.
Right, exactly.
You've really been putting it together and shaping it more.
Right.
Since you met me or whatever.
No, yeah, absolutely.
I mean,
absolutely.
And so, you know, it's to be understood.
You know why? I knew you were a psychic because it's out there. You know, it says it out there. Psychic.
I'm everywhere. I mean,
well, it says it out
I'm
on
here
her
in Baptist
building.
Bible Belt country, and I'm being judged left and right. But I say, you know what? You don't like who I am? There's the damn door.
I just don't know who judges you. I know it's not me. Nobody I know.
Well, I mean, no. There is, what, 80% of Baptists here in this town?
Yes, there is. Yes,
and I'm in a town of under 8,000 people.
Yep.
You know, I mean, I've had them knock on the door, come in and look at my merchandise and say, oh, how can you justify having the beloved heart of Jesus candle right here and the book of Voodoo right under? I said, I can justify that quite nicely, mind you, and thank you, ma'am. I said, because I'm an eclectic spiritualist place that will cater to any and all, and if you don't like it, there's the damn door, but I'm not going to have you sitting here saying any kind of shit about me in front of my boy that's sitting over there on the computer and hearing every damn thing that you, the beloved good Christian, is saying. You know, and you're on a path of love, okay? How can you justify coming in here and judging me when your own book says, judge not that ye be not judged, for with what judgment ye judge shall be measured to you again, and for what measures ye meet.
It's like,
and tell me I don't know how to put you in your place whenever you're doing wrong. You know? And you've got to be able to learn how to talk to everybody when you are on the path that you're on, because you're going to be tried and tested. Even in Christianity, you're going to find trials and tests.
Well, when I saw your sign outside that said psychic, and I came in, and we had a reading, which was dead on, by the way. She's amazing. I'm not kidding. I've had many readings. Well, maybe not many, but 4, maybe 3. I don't know. Oh, several. And she's never been wrong. Truly never been wrong. And like to the point even that she predicted, unfortunately, the death of my grandchild. And we didn't understand it at the time, but that's what it was. We thought maybe she said, I don't see a little girl, I see a little boy as your first grandchild. We thought the ultrasound was wrong. No, our little girl passed away. And so that was our first grandchild. And since then, I've been a believer. That's it. I was just like, that's it. She knows her stuff. Well, then I go look up on YouTube for the tarot cards when I got them. They were given to me, and so I was looking, and there she was. And I looked at someone in my house, and I said, "Oh my God, she's a 3rd-degree Wiccan priestess, the woman that just did our reading." And so, you know, for me, that was like seeing a celebrity or something. I was like, holy crap.
No,
that's awesome.
No pictures.
Yeah, really.
I agree with you on that one. They ruffle my feathers a bit.
But, you know, when we're talking about religious folks, I mean, when Sweet Susie, and hi, Sweet Susie, I haven't seen you in a while, and thank you for joining the show. And you're right in not taking a name for yourself in witchcraft until you're ready for it. And by the way, NGS, I love that L no tags or titles. Really and truthfully, you've got to be careful with that, because you're pigeonholing yourself into one way of being, and then you're going to feel guilty or like you can't at all change anything within you or about you on your path. And I absolutely don't believe in that. I believe you should always be able to expand, to grow, to take new paths onto your path, or take from any individual. And one thing I've always taught all of you guys is take what you will and leave what you want, and screw the rest. I mean, I don't give a shit what any Tom, Dick, or Harry has to say about me. And I'll sit there and I'll tell them that. If you don't like my show, walk off the damn thing. You know, but I'm very fortunate here. I have a lot of very beautiful people that watch this show and talk to me. It is the same people all the time.
Because I'm usually in there with y'all.
Well, these are family. Yeah. I mean, all of these people, Angie S., Sweet Susie, Nicole, Siren, Freaky Unicorn,
me,
you, Cindy Lou. Yeah, but I'm not looking at you.
I know.
Because you're over here and this is on here. But Kardaki, I mean, you guys are all family, and I acknowledge it that way. And it's going to be so hard for me to drop down to a show every day to 2 times a week, you know, because like one of you guys said, and I believe it was Patricia, who isn't here today, and if you think I don't notice when you don't come, you got like booked up. Okay, and I'm talking about Patricia, I'm talking about Yamanu, I'm talking about, and I can sit here and I can point out everybody that is not in this room today.
He's not.
You know, and I love all of you guys, and so whenever you're not here, I can feel the energy, you know, and don't think that I can't. You know, I mean, I don't care how much it's scrolling. I pick up on who is here and who isn't. You know, and that's just because I love you guys. It really is. You know, and Cindy Lou is in here. Oh, wait, she's right here. Okay, and we can be grateful because we finally had her visit the show. And I would like to get more of you guys on the show in person whenever
Nikki,
you're here in this neck of the woods.
You're next. Who's Mystic?
And also, I'm trying to set it up on Skype to where I can do interviews with you on phone and to where it can actually be heard quite clearly.
And people are doing that. People are
doing that.
Doing the live streams and the shows. Like you can have 3 or 4 or 5 people, you know, there to talk to you.
Right, but they've taken out Hangouts, and that makes it very hard. Or they're working on taking it out.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And so I don't want to go there. And I don't want to get used to something they're just going to strip away, and then I'm going to have to dump all my people on their ass. You know? Also...
I don't know that you could shake them.
Also, well, I hope not.
They're going to end up in your email if you try that.
I hope not. Yeah. But, in all reality, you know, there are ways that you could do this. And I've actually ordered different pieces of equipment where I could try to do this with, but it ended up not being what was usable. And what I'm looking for, I'm pretty sure, is software. And we're thinking hardware. You know?
Are quite, you should see this place, okay? There's a computer over here that is lit up in red that's just beautiful. And this just looks like some kind of, I don't know, alien dashboard.
You could use
Thank you, Nordic. I'll check into that for sure.
You're welcome, Austin.
In actuality, the computer you're sitting here describing is one that Austin built.
Well, it's beautiful.
What? That's pretty awesome.
You need to get one that's, you know, glows that nice, rich purple now.
Mine actually broke, and he used the casing.
Oh.
And he rebuilt it with
Beautiful.
like 10 times the motherboard, 10 times the CPUs, and all of this shit. And he really rigged it up for me so I can do all the gaming that I want and all of that now. As far as everything else, yes, you're pointing out, we believe in our equipment. We have over 4 computers in the house, including a tablet. And we have a couple of really good phones.
Don't ever talk to me about no pagan porn.
2 Xboxes, PlayStation. I mean, we have a full set out here. But then 2 monitors, all of this shit. We believe in it. But that's because not only do I do my family time with you guys on YouTube here on the live stream, I make videos personally. I like gaming, and lately I'm Twitch gaming, while I'm streaming to the other people and talking to them about magic, although they may be a zoo on there right now. And any of you that visit my Twitch channel, if you watch that one video of the one time I've done this, you'll see that I was tried and tested, and I was the bitch that won. Okay? Because these little motherfuckers thought that they were something else, and they were wanting to give me grief But by the end of it, I had 11 subscribers out of this group of boys that thought they were badass.
On Twitch?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh,
I've now got 11
terrible.
subscribers out of these guys
I
that
can't
thought they
even
were going to
believe
text
it.
me.
I can't even believe it. They were mean to her, and I couldn't post, so I couldn't say anything. Even after the fact, when I found it, I was like, ugh.
She
I was
doesn't
so
know
mad.
Twitch too much.
No, I don't know anything too much. I'm lucky that I got my
But I mean, it's
my
good
Cindy
that
Lou
you didn't
Boo
say
thing
anything
going.
because the majority of them
Yeah.
now are followers
That's
of mine.
it's a good thing.
You know,
that I didn't
but the
say
thing
anything.
is we've got to teach them somewhere. And if you didn't notice, I was able to
You
always
did so
angle
good.
them right back onto the path of what we're supposed
She
to be
didn't
talking
say anything
about.
mean. She just said, she just corrected them calmly, and I was just like, oh, please let something work. And no, no.
But there were times.
Did you see you can do a now live stream?
Oh,
I didn't know
now.
that.
I didn't know it. I don't
Austin,
even
do
know
you
what
know
now
what that
is.
is?
What's that?
Do you know what you now is?
You
A
know?
live stream site that posts live to your YouTube channel?
I didn't know anything about
No, I
that.
haven't heard
Nordic
about
Witch
that.
says it.
Okay. What?
Yeah, but do they offer to where you can see several faces at once, and what kind of equipment would you need for that? Honey, let's not go into technological stuff right
I'm
now. I'm in the
sorry.
middle of a live stream.
I'm sorry.
I'm trying to stay on topic, and you guys are not working for me.
No, I'm sorry. That's bad that I'm not working.
You know,
for her. I won't be back. It was nice meeting you all.
I'll definitely check it out. You know, for you guys that don't know, you can actually support us on Patreon. And a lot of the details, if you go on to any of my videos, you can look underneath them. And in the description, you can find out where you can support us, whether you want to pledge monthly or whether you want to do lump sum donation to the channel to help support us. You can go to my website at mysticshadowinsights.com, and there's a thing right on the front page where you can donate to the channel and support us. I don't like to emphasize on this because I don't like shaking a bucket in front of anybody. I don't believe in that. But people encourage me because it could help supply for a lot of the memory cards, the camera equipment, and all of this that I go through on a typical basis. And some have already figured out how they can support us all. You know, so, I mean, I'm just mentioning it briefly and then I'll leave it alone. And then another way you could support us is sharing everything that we put out there with other people that you know on your social media. Go on and friend us on Twitch or follow us. You know, on Ask a Witch, actually, is the Twitch stream name on there. Let's see. Also, you could friend me on Facebook if you just want to touch bases with me. Say hello, because a lot of you are my beloved, and I don't want to lose touch with you. And I've got room for over 4,000 more friends now. I mean, because you are limited there. And so get your seat today.
Really? You're limited on Facebook? How
Yes,
many?
you are limited to 5,000. Anybody else can follow you, but they can't friend you.
I call bullshit.
No.
No,
It's
not
there.
by you. I'm talking about to Facebook. I think that's bullshit.
I think
They
it's
need to fix
bullshit
it.
too, but I've actually tried to follow somebody that showed to have 5,000 followers on there, and they said you cannot do that. They have their maximum amount, blah, blah, blah. So yes, there is that.
I didn't even know that could happen.
Well, I mean, anybody that could really count more than their true friends on both hands are really full of shit about how many friends they've actually got. In
Yeah.
real life, let's get real, okay?
Yeah.
You have 10 friends, 6 of those are going to stab you in the back in one form or fashion. And I mean, I'm just talking realistically speaking. Shoot me, cast a stone, whatever, I don't give a shit. Execute me for what I'm saying. But if you have 10 friends, 6 of them motherfuckers are going to stab you in the back. I mean, it's just the way it is. You know, and I mean, I'm very bold in using the language that I do here, but let's talk frankly. We're all adults. We hear that word 100 times out in the real world, so you can cast a stone for me
Oh.
It's just
like
a word.
that, you know, but I'm not Jesus Christ here, and I do believe that I can do whatever I want.
Well, it's just a word.
You know,
It's just
and
a
it's
word.
just a word, and it's something we've heard so many times that it's the same thing as ask a question or the word don't or do or whatever. But the fact of the matter is you cannot say that everybody is your friends. I mean, I had 3 witches set out to try to cast on me a year and a quarter ago that were my students for over 13 years.
That's okay.
You know, It's alright, I took care of it, and I'm not sweating a shit. And I'm quite sure they're sorry about it now. You can find the videos under my name on YouTube, by the way.
Did you do a video on it?
Yes, I did 2 videos on it, and I let them know when one of them visited my house to ask me about it. I said, yes, I did. I did a protection, and your name was there.
Good for you.
You know, the fact of the matter is if you cast on me, I will get you. I'm a gray witch whenever I get angry.
Did you tell?
I will go into
you
black witchery
say?
whenever I have to, and that will be my dark side that will absorb the karma wherever it's needed. Now, do I want to do this? No. But if somebody screws me over...
Do you say how you know they cast on you?
I know how they cast on me. I read for it.
But do you...
I saw it.
You said it on
No, I didn't give the full...
I didn't know.
I did not give the full...
Okay.
Oh, wait.
Did you?
On the 2 videos that I've got online, I
You were
did
pretty
specify... I did specify what was going on. And is Patreon under LL or Eclectic Spirituality? Actually, Patreon is under Eclectic Spirituality.
You can click on it.
Yes, you can put in Eclectic Spirituality, Lady Leeanna, and it will pull me up with no problem. Just make sure you spell my name correctly if you put that on there. And my name is spelled rather weird.
Well, since you say that you've already said it, and so you already
Her
have
name's
put it
spelled?
out there, I personally think that if you are an asshole
So
enough that you're going to
Leeanna,
literally
like that.
try to give someone such a bad thing that she had with the cancer, you literally
You know what I mean?
deserve anything. And I do mean anything. And if even me, I would do the same thing. I'm like, my name can be Karma today. And I think
We're
that she
shown.
was absolutely justified in being karma for those people. And I personally think if they did that, they deserve everything they get.
And that's the way I felt. If somebody could sit down, and I stay in my 4 walls. I
golly.
help people as much as I can, and I do what I can to try to make sure everybody is good. And I give all of my time to spirituality. And then 3 of my students, one of them that I let lay up in my house for a year, you know,
And fed her.
and fed her or whatever, help take care of her, and then they're going to turn around and cast on me. Hell yeah, she deserved everything that I had Kelly, Caradwin, Hecate, and Bass put on her ass. You know? And yes, I'm going to call an underworld goddesses whenever I need to.
Oh, she told me how
Yeah.
she did it, and I was like, woo, do not let me piss you off. Holy crap.
I will
Don't do
open
it.
a hallway and a mirror, and I will have a direct line into
Woo,
your head
that
and
gives
your
me the
spirit.
I got chills everywhere.
Woo.
Everywhere.
But let me clarify this
Don't
once
talk
more,
first.
everybody.
Mm-mm.
Let me clarify this once more. I have only
Oh.
taken those drastic measures this one time in my whole life.
Yeah.
Because nobody has set out to cast on me that drastically before.
Right.
And they made the water pour through my walls on All Hallows Eve, and that's whenever I got the sign, and that's when they started doing it. And it was after that one of them visited me trying to say 2 of them did it, and I knew that bitch was just as guilty.
Oh, was she? I didn't know that.
Oh,
part.
hell yeah.
I thought she was the one that told me.
But water started pouring through my walls at that
Mm-mm-mm.
same time that the woman came to tell me. And then I came down being diagnosed with cancer within 3 months of that. And then everything else in my life was going wrong. I started getting reoccurring colds, 5 or 6 within a year. Ringworms I couldn't get rid of. These are all signs of witchcraft, and you better take note of that because I haven't done a show on that yet.
Wow.
It's true. If you have these kind of problems, milk that sours overnight, things that go wrong to that drastic
Milk
measure,
that
blue
sours
flames.
overnight.
Actually, if it's true milk that hasn't
That's
been
not good.
refrigerated yet, it should stay good because of the
Sure.
skimness on the top of it. You know, the foam and all of that. You're a farmer. You've seen
I
all
don't
of
have
this, I'm
cows.
sure. Huh?
I don't have cattle.
Either way, milk can sour in 4 hours,
Right.
give or take. But generally, you're getting milk that's been around for a couple of weeks when you get it anyway. You know,
Mhm.
when you get milk fresh out of a cow, it hasn't been refrigerated. It's got the fat on the top. It seals in its freshness for a while. And old farmers, it was the knowledge that if milk soured overnight, then that it's a true sign of a witch. Or if a flame glows blue and it's not containing gaseous energy, then it's the sign of a witch. But it's cursing witches, not just any witch.
So it's not that a witch is near, it's that a witch is actually
it can be either or by those standards. But in the old days, they also believed that all witches were evil.
Right.
Likewise.
Right.
You know, the thing is that I feel that when they put this forward, it was when any of us were around, they would get the sign of it. And you have to realize that there's just as much in Christian magic as there is in us. They just don't want to call it that.
I truly believe that.
You know?
Yeah.
The thing is there's also psychic and me, people that are psychic. And then there are prophesies that go into the church. What is the difference here? Okay, and I'm not trying to go down, you know, the path of pointing back fingers at any religious pathway or anything. What I'm trying to dictate here is that some paths like to call something one thing, and other paths like to call something another thing, the same something another thing, and because it's under the title of witchcraft or Christianity or Buddhism or shamanism or whatever that is diverse from the other pathways, they don't see eye to eye with them, and it's generally product of the holy war that's been raging throughout the hundreds of thousands of years so far. And by the way, when you see me looking over here, it's not my invisible friend. It's not a ghost, and she does talk. It's actually her sister that came in much later, and she's kind of participating in the talks and conversations, but we only had the camera angled in such a way that it could pick up three of us. And what is your name?
My name is Leeanna.
Leeanna, and she is sister to Cindy Lou, which you know Cindy Lou from the show here, and seeing her name in the titles in the past.
I'm pretty sure I'm going to be going by 7.
Huh?
I'm pretty sure I'm going to be going by 7.
Going by 7 what?
That's it.
Oh,
she's going to change. She's going to have
changing.
a witchy name, and her name is going to be 7.
Because I am the 7th of
She's
7.
the 7th daughter of 7 children.
And
But
I've always signed my cards number 7
right.
since I was a child.
But you probably,
It's the only
and
thing
speaking
You're
about
worried
witchy
one that listens
names,
to her.
you also have to be very careful, because if you let everybody know that witchy name, that would give them a power over you. They could cast on you or gain a control over you.
She probably
sure
means
that's
like
how
a
they
name
know.
like this, like Nicole, or like Nordic Witch, or
These are screen names,
Well,
and,
that's
and
kind of
witchy
what she
screen
said.
names,
I
and so
understand
and so yes, as a witchy screen name or whatever, that could be great. I mean, but whenever you step in there and you dedicate or initiate yourself into something or have it done, then you keep that name sacred
and you
to
do want
only
the Wiccan path.
to
She
only the
loves
I am.
people that.
Very headed down that path.
Now see, I'm in a place of danger myself, and probably that's how somebody was able to cast on me,
you.
because it was my own students that sat in a circle with me for 13 years.
So I'm going to
And
assume
so they
Lady
knew-
Leeanna is not your witchy name.
No, that is not my witchy
Okay.
name.
Okay.
But
I
these
didn't know
people
that.
all knew my witchy name,
Wow.
and probably it gave them a sway over my life and a power over me, you know, because they sat in circle with me and they did how many rituals with me. Okay, so I may have to change that. Why? And I hate that, because that has been my witchy name for over 34 years. Okay, and so that really sucks. Okay? But then again, why not rebirth myself? Why
That's
not
right.
just make it
Take-
a new thing?
and take
do
that
a
power from
do
them.
a
Do a
rededication,
rebirth,
do a reinitiation,
Yes. Oh.
take a new name,
I've got chills
and
everywhere.
let the old
I've got
alone.
chills everywhere.
You know? And actually, alright,
If you do it, Delana wants to be there.
Yes.
actually, I'm going to tell you this, and only because I'm going to relinquish this right after this show. My actual witchcraft name was Sardagoddess. And I did not know.
Sardagoddess?
Yes, and that was
Oh,
granted
that's
to me.
beautiful.
Wow.
That was granted to me by somebody else, and it stayed with me there on out. I did not
That sounds
know.
very powerful.
Now, I did not know that this at one time, but just 3 years ago, someone online found out my witchy name, and he was an India guy. He was an India shaman. and I mean from the Indian nation, not the Native American Indian.
Right. I got you.
And he said, did you know that your name, Sarda, is a goddess, and she was of all creation from our culture? And the name goddess being with her gave her a higher status, and she would feed on that
That's
energy.
fantastic.
And it blew my mind because I did not know this, and the whole time that was my name. But now, mind you, after the show, for anybody that would like to cast on me, you know,
Do
I'm
not
gonna,
cast on her.
I
I'm
am
just going to
going
put
to
that out there.
mess you up.
Do not.
I am
Because
going
I
to
will travel to
relinquish.
the gray, black, whatever the hell side I need to. I do
She
not.
But I will
mess
be.
you up.
Just saying. I know y'all love her, but I'm just saying.
Anyway, I'll relinquish
Don't
this
do it.
name right after the show. Otherwise, I wouldn't have put it out there.
I know.
But I mean, and you got to realize that there will be a lot of other people watching the show after this. So I'm not really even talking to the people in the chat room here. You know, I trust them pretty much.
My problem is I'm
As
already a
much as you
healer.
could
I
trust
surely don't want to
anybody
be
you
casting on nobody.
never seen the face of anyway. But I'll be relinquishing this name because
That's
anybody could
beautiful.
watch
It's a
my
shame.
video after this
Right.
and send negative energy through it.
Right.
And that's what our true subject is at
I
the
see.
moment,
Right.
is watching out and not giving your witchcraft name,
Right.
you know, because it could give somebody a power over you.
I
As
wouldn't-
soon as you relinquish that name and you cut ties from the past, then that's
You rebirth
that,
yourself. That's awesome.
It dissolves it.
And
I
you
mean,
need to anyway because you're of your cancer being gone. and all
yeah,
that
now
stuff
that I'm
anyway.
through battling my cancer, which I feel was put on me through
Absolutely.
this curse
Right.
that somebody did to me, and since everything has started dying out as far as the negativity goes, and
Mhm.
trust me, everything in my house has been breaking down, everything has been going wrong. So I need to do a cleansing of myself, and that means a complete cleansing, and I've never done that for you. I've never talked to you about that. What is a complete cleansing? It's a total dissolution of your path in the past, as well as your Wiccan name, as well as any works that you've ever done. And you may have put works out there that you regret or whatever.
Oh.
You know, like when you were traveling down a different path or whatever.
Do you start a new shadows?
huh?
Shadows? Do you start a new book of shadows? And
Yes,
Oh,
if
that's
you
a
do
great
a
question.
if you
do
do
you
a
bind the other one?
dissolution,
Do you bind the other one?
you get rid of the other. You burn it. You
Okay.
give
Oh.
you give your prayers on
Okay.
air.
Wow.
Or you might take your prayers and you might put them into something that's not permanent, and then burn the book, and then you could transfer after you do a cleansing on your spells. But a total dissolution to me rings out, get rid of everything, start fresh and new, and it doesn't relinquish your
Status or power?
your status or power that you've attained throughout your covenants in the past
Right.
or whatever, but it does get rid of, and it breaks the lines. Like
Okay.
any of your students that you've taken to in the past, they're no longer your students unless they come back and proclaim themselves to you as you
reborn.
being their teacher and so forth. You don't lose anything like that, but you lose the physical manifestation of anything you've done to anybody or anything they've done to you, and you start new and fresh, and you take a new name onto yourself. I get rid of that light gatekeeper ship back behind me that I don't want ties in, because demons will still try to visit me
Okay.
and say, hey, you know, or whatever. Of course, I do still know them, and I can still visit them and say, hey, I'm such and such, and I still would like my alliance with you, or whatever. Let's go to the board a little bit and see what people are saying. The Nordic Witch says, the path are you each on? What path are you each on? I am Norse pagan, but I am also interested in the Celtic path. I have both in my ancestry. I am a, first and foremost, my base of my path is witchcraft and Wicca. I was a Christian ministress, and I have all of these other pathways that I've studied through in my life, which gives me a thing. I've been a teacher where I've held covenants and groups with many people in it, and I've been known to have Christians and Satanists, shamans, druids, and witchcrafts and Wiccans all sitting in the same room and getting along together. That's who I am. I'm an eclectic spiritualist. That's what I profess to be. And so if you ask me what my path is, I will tell you that is what I am. Cindy Lou?
I am more a I'm gonna just probably say more hoodoo. I that's my practice. I believe a lot in the candle magic, the herbs, the oils, the things, you know, and I make them all myself. So I don't get my oils from anywhere. I make them. They sit for the amount of time I feel that they need to with the crystals in them and blah 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 blah. So there you go. You know, I grow my own herbs.
Hoodoo,
make your
kitchen
oils.
witchery,
Very
green
kitchen
witchcraft.
witchery,
Yes,
some hedge
I would be
witchery.
the same.
You
So
would
so
be
I
the
have
same.
Yes.
I have the hoodoo, I have
Have
the
you
kitchen
studied about the
witchery,
same
I
one?
have the hedge
aunt,
witchery,
I was named
those types
directly
of
after
things.
her. She's with me.
So
And I feel a strong tie.
but
to it.
I do what I
I
feel is
have
right.
always.
I don't know if it has
All
been
my
And so
life.
you've been
I
studying?
just-
fighting it. But
I
it's
just
time now.
no. Yes,
Step
this
out.
is me,
It's
Glenn.
time.
I am Cindy Lou Who.
Yes, this is Cindy Lou Who, one of our famous parts of the family.
Don't know about famous.
Well,
Nicole's- I
as
just-
famous as any of the rest of us, anyway. But yes, this is Cindy Lou Who that you've seen on the show that also gave the gift box to me, by the way, and that I created an entire show around that gift box,
She told
unboxing
me.
it,
I thought it was
and naming
beautiful.
everything it
I
is
thought it
and
was
what it's
beautiful.
for. But let's talk to
She's-
her sister for a minute.
Every witch needs a haul, right?
You
Has
gotta have a
everybody
witchy
heard that?
haul on
Witchy
your
haul.
show if you got a
And
channel.
There
anyway.
you go.
And she gave me my first witchy haul on the entire channel, actually.
34 years, and I was the first one. I just cannot even believe it. I was the first one to bring her something. That just makes
When
that
I'm
drives
on the
me
right
insane.
track of
Huh?
something, when I'm on the right track of something, I get chills all over and
We
my
all
eyes
do.
water.
You ask
And
anybody
I
in
can't
there.
control it. The minute I walked in this door and I laid eyes on you, I knew that I would always be with you in some way, shape, or form. And this is something
that's
that
crazy.
I've always felt. As soon when I've passed by this place,
I know, right?
I felt a strong tie to pull in, and I never did because I thought you're mental.
This is from
I'm not gonna fight
Nicole.
this anymore.
She wants to give
and
you
the
a
minute
hug.
I laid eyes on you, I knew I will always, in some way, be in your life until I am no longer here.
Right, and that's
Wow.
what it is, really. It's the energy that revolves around us. And I'm not sure if the camera could pick up the sound of your voice. You're
Oh, I
so
know.
light-spoken, so talk
Oh,
louder if you
I
can.
am the loudest.
I mean,
in
they
the
already
family.
can't see
Yes,
you,
are.
and it would be.
Not to be embarrassing.
But what path are you on, and what was your name again?
My name is Leeanna.
Delina.
It's a
okay.
family name.
A family
I was named
name.
after my Wiccan
So-
aunt Delina.
My sister,
Delina.
Delina, is here. She doesn't
Aunt
particularly want to be
Delina.
on camera, but
Yet.
She is part of the
yeah,
topic.
she is part of the
But now I
topic.
don't kind of care.
Oh, now you don't kind
Now
of
I
care.
feel like I feel
well,
like
you
balling
can just,
up
you
in
can
the
come
middle of all
stick your
y'all.
face in
Well,
the
you can come
camera.
and sit by her over
So
here.
this is my sister.
Watch the cords.
I am.
Okay, this is Delina, who is also been throughout her life on spiritual pathways. But what pathway do you particularly adhere to?
And when she has
if
dark hair,
any?
she looks more like me. Just saying.
I believe in all the gods, all the deities. I believe in nature the most.
Oh, girl, but
The
she would dance
water.
naked under the moon. She's
I
your
will
Wiccan
be
girl,
the
for
first
sure.
one naked under the moon if I feel like it. I will be naked under the sun and am most of the time. And under, behind our privacy fence. But I
Caitlin.
love
And
I love
blonde lady.
everything.
This
I
is
love
Caitlin,
animals.
by the way. yes.
Animals
Her
are my
daughter.
strongest pull. I have seen so many animal spirits, I cannot tell you.
It's okay.
So
I-
would you say that is mainly your path, the connection to animal spirits and of
And
nature?
Yes, absolutely.
And so, well, that's all of us. That's Wicca,
That's very pagan.
paganism. I mean,
Yes.
that's what a pagan is. Somebody that's
Okay.
tied to nature and the heat,
Mhm.
the earth.
She's as new
Um,
almost as
I'm
her.
an infant.
But would you say that you're an eclectic spiritualist like I am, like she is for
I
the
think
most
so
part?
too. Yes.
Where you might do a little hoodoo, or at some points you might even go a little spiritual.
Absolutely.
So that's cool. We're all pretty much on the same pathway then.
And she's much like the one, I don't know who said it, but you said you were more into voodoo than the other
Freaky
stuff.
unicorn.
Freaky Unicorn? Is that the one, I think? Well, she probably could dabble in some of that dark stuff too, in that
And I would
it's
if someone
it's
was to harm my
encouraging
family.
to her, not encouraging to her, enticing to her.
Mhm.
We've talked about it in the morning at 4 o'clock in the morning. We talked these things, when
I tend to wake up every morning at 3 o'clock, and I never knew why.
It's the witching hour.
And Cindy told me it
At
was
what,
the
3?
witching hour.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I always feel like someone's in my ear going, wake up, wake up, wake up.
Yep.
There has to
It's
be a
time.
reason
Wake
for
up,
it.
wake
I told her
wake
that. I said, somebody's trying to talk to you.
And now I need to know why and who and what do you need from
So
me.
she's here for a reading.
So,
I am.
I mean, you may meditate and get a lot of information. Maybe open up a little bit more.
I would love that.
Thank you.
I
And,
need someone to open my doors, my French doors. All of them.
If you
But-
had doors, they would only be French doors.
Yeah.
But you know, a lot of this stuff is very solvable. You know, a lot of the closed doors can be open regardless of what doors we're talking about, and you have to be very specific in that through hypnosis.
Hypnosis. So
Yes.
it wouldn't be like a road opener type thing. It would be more that way.
We used to do hypnosis a
Well,
lot.
you're
as
on your
younger.
road. Your road goes way back from the beginning of time
Am I
if you're an
sitting
old
on you, baby?
spirit.
Oh,
Or a new one. I mean, from the
Oh,
beginning
honey.
of your time as existing. Yes, whenever somebody's talking, we gotta be careful
Yes.
because they can't hear all of us at once. But whenever your pathway is began, and there's a lot back there, but it doesn't just begin at this life here. I mean, it went back there before this life and the one before that. Hypnosis is a doorway opener, and it can solve a lot of these questions and confusions.
Do you believe in soul groups?
Soul groups. What are you talking about?
Like, I believe in soul groups. I believe that if I meet you and I feel like I've met you before, it's because we have traveled in the same soul group before. If you feel a deep connection to someone right away, it's because you have been in that person's life in a previous existence.
That's I never tagged or titled it, and you got to realize that when I make a lot,
I can't control it.
Oh my God, she's gonna cry. She does this. She's a water bear.
but whenever what was I gonna say?
You were talking about the soul groups.
Soul groups. I've got a lot within me and a lot I know about that I don't tag and title and never have had to. You know what I mean?
Right.
Things that I held more sacred to me or whatever, and I'm talking more about spirituality in the open nowadays.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm finding a lot of acronyms, say on the computer,
Right.
or from people like yourself that are talking about a term that I was not familiar with or haven't yet met, you know, but it means the same thing basically as what I would call people getting together and they, or say, you know, in this life we revolve around people that were in past lives that we revolved around and on, because souls are always connected, and you don't have to be a soulmate for this to happen.
Yeah.
People like to throw that word soulmate around too much and too fast, too easy. A soulmate, okay, a soul group, if you want to call it, that's a good term, is people, a group of people that all have revolved around you from one life to the next, and that is everybody, that's everyone, that's everything, everybody that's revolved around you. That is a soul group. Anybody that's ever been there. And they do, always. Okay, but a soulmate now is someone that you may have been with as a lover, as a boyfriend, girlfriend, as a mate, as a consort, life after life after life after
Right.
life. And that is what soulmate-um is. And a lot of people don't grasp that.
Right.
And I'm like, okay, don't throw around the words of soulmateism so easy unless you
Are
know
certain.
what you're talking about, or
Right.
you're certain. And everybody in this life want to say, oh God, this person is so good to me, they have to have been my soulmate, and from then on out they're calling that person their soulmate forever because they adopted that, you know, and that might be okay to some degree because from then on out you might be. But you haven't lived that entire life with them at the same time, and before it's over with, he could be beating you, or she could be beating you, or, heaven's sake, might be slaughtering you and all of
Oh,
your
Lord.
kids in their sleep.
That went negative really fast.
Well, I mean, look at
Scary.
Charlie Manson.
Twilight
It
Zone
exists.
mode. That's scary.
It's
You
true.
know,
It does.
But it exists.
Right.
I mean, and so you could call somebody a soulmate, and then they try to butcher you and your friends or something.
Yeah.
My
You know,
soulmates
heaven
have
See,
always
forbid.
been
the
my
thing
animals.
that you have is you have that
Yes.
you have that side of you that you have traveled to that dark place. You have been in that darkness. And
I
you
have come from very dark places.
Yes,
And I've
you
worked my
have.
way up
Right,
quickly. But I
right.
also have all the knowledge and wisdom that I need, I feel.
Mhm.
And this is only my feelings, and I do designate that wholeheartedly most of the time through my
all
shows.
do feel
Because
that way.
when we are talking about us,
Mhm.
and this does not mean that you have to believe the same way.
Yeah.
Okay, but
I
I
agree.
feel that I'm an old soul. I feel that I go back now to the beginning of time, and I've actually seen the beginning.
I don't know
Okay?
that I saw the beginning, but I do
I
feel
know
like
I'm
an
an old
old
soul.
soul.
I know
I'm
I
not.
am.
I'm
And
not
I
a new
feel
baby.
that when this life is over, I don't have to come back again. That I
Awesome.
will move to be able to become part of the God system, and that's what we all strive to do. So it may be a little sad saying, okay, we're not going to live again, we're not going to be able to embark on this life. But look at this screwed up world. Who really wants to come back in this day?
I
and
feel
age?
like now if I don't take this path in my life that is calling so loudly to me, will not let me sleep. I think that if I don't take this path, I will have to come back. And I don't want to. I want to
Yeah, you
move on.
definitely don't.
But nobody really wants to come back again after looking at this world the way it is. We're all hurting down here. It's dirty. And it's not the world itself. It's what humans are doing to it.
Yes.
And you have to realize, and yes, a lot of people could take this upside the chin and as personally as they want to, but in all reality, every one of us knows that humans are the most destructive animal or creature on
Oh.
this world.
I
Can I
get
say
sick all the
something?
time of
Mhm.
the sickness that we're putting into the earth. It makes me sick.
I have
Literally.
an elderly friend that I like to help. She lives right down at the end of our road. And she told me, she said, you know, when God made animals, he did a wonderful thing. But when he made man, he fucked up.
Oh,
And
wow.
that
I'm
is the
sorry.
truth,
I'm
isn't it?
sorry, but there's the
Probably
word.
true.
But she was so
Oh, she
honest,
was
and
dropping
she's
it earlier.
elderly. But she was. It hit me so hard. All my soulmates have been my animals, and they have been true to me,
But
and
see,
long and
animals,
lengthy, and just loyal, and just everything a human cannot be. They cannot possess
I
it.
have a soulmate, and it is a human.
But
and-
that's you.
And I would like to say something because I know you don't want to go to the board much, but this really resonated with me. Kardaki says a very important question: can gays have soulmates? Let
Of
me
course.
just say you that is one
Of course.
closet that I am fully out of. I am a lesbian,
She flew
and
out.
I have a
oh my
mate.
God.
I have a mate that I have been with for 11 years.
Yep.
And we are absolutely connected in ways I cannot even tell you. It
I've
is
never
truly
seen anything
the
like
most
it.
beautiful thing I have
Neither
ever
have I.
witnessed, and I'm
And
part
I'm so
of it.
jealous.
Oh,
You know,
I'm
so,
sorry.
I mean,
I'm so jealous.
You know, this world is boxed nuts. I mean, and mixed fruits. I
It
mean,
is.
it takes everybody to make the world go around. And like Glenn pointed out on this text box up here, you know, sex is gender. Actually, souls are and spirits are genderless. I mean,
Absolutely.
and actually, you know,
Or
before
sex.
this life, where I am female, she is female, and on and on.
Right.
Everybody here is female. You know, before this, at different times, we were male or we were animal. And I feel that an animal is actually, at certain times, shapeless, you know, in between lives and so forth. And angels are genderless. And you know, when you are gay and you are looking for somebody of the same sex, it's because you're meeting of minds, of hearts, of spirits, of love. And that's where it becomes a very beautiful thing. And then there's a lot of people, just like with religion and how we are preached to constantly about our religion being wrong and so forth, people that are lesbian or gay
I love it.
or in between, you know, are always being told that what they're doing is wrong. But who can say that? I mean, who can say that this hard-hitting Bible thumper here today wasn't at one time a gay person and wasn't a male in the last life, or somebody that was transsexual or transvestite or whatever? Who's to say anybody was always the way they were, or that they always walked the straight and narrow? They just don't know it.
That's why you have to.
Why?
be careful.
Because they are not open-minded like we are. And so they've lost their way, and so now they're judging everybody because they think that that's the thing to do. probably because they had this abusive father or very strict, very devout Christian father who said it only could be one way and that's all there is to it.
We never grew up that way. We figured out if you could find love in any form, you're doing a great job.
You
It's
know,
done good to you.
Love is love is love.
Yep.
That's it. And really, I truly believe, be careful what you do and be careful what you say. Because if you say that you hate gays or you hate whatever, buddy, you can bet your butt your next life you're going to be gay. So
You might just be gay next week.
You're gonna
you just
walk,
don't know it.
You're gonna
Depends
walk,
on who walks into your life.
You're going to walk a mile in those shoes, and I truly believe in karma. I truly believe in what goes around comes around, and I promise you that if you put that out there, it's going to come back and rest on your head before it ends.
I don't care
Well,
what
like
you are
you guys.
or who you were
Do what?
or what you become. I just want you to be good to me
And to each other.
and to each other.
well, like
Just
you
be
guys,
good.
I was kind of loosely raised in whatever form or fashion I wanted.
Mm-hmm.
And from the time I was 4 years old, I was putting myself on that bus to go to the church. First Pentecostal, then went First Baptist, then Pentecostal, then went non-denominational.
Ooh, Pentecostal.
And so I walked in all the pathways
You did.
of Christianity and put myself on the bus because my parents were actually musicians. They played in the clubs, the nightclubs every night. You know, lived in whatever way they wanted. Well, my father's brothers were all ministers.
I saw you singing.
Pentecostal preachers, actually. Actually mixed. In that side of the family, they were mixed between Baptists and Pentecostal preachers. And in my mom's family, they were all Baptists and Pentecostal followers.
Baptist.
You know, but I was able to
Southern
put
Baptist.
myself on the bus if I wanted to, didn't have to. If I didn't want to, I was able, and by my parents, to live my life in whatever way, form, or fashion I saw fit. And so I started embarking on the pathways of spirituality in all forms from the very beginning. But like Glenn pointed out, you know, anybody and everybody can be, or like we've all said and said, everybody can be whatever they want to be. Angels, spirits, they're genderless. Whether you're straight, gay, lesbian, bisexual, whatever, it doesn't really matter, and it doesn't mean that you weren't a different way in another life. Or even in this life, you may have lived several lives.
Right.
Like to have been married at one time and have kids, or be in a relationship with a female and then go to males, or whatever. There are so many people that go through so many different cycles of life just in this one life.
Yeah.
And it's okay, because it's okay with them, and that's what's important here. You know,
Yeah. I agree.
to be you.
Yes. Absolutely.
Religion-wise, to be you. It is okay to be yourself.
If you can't be who you are, where you are, you might consider moving.
Mm-hmm.
This one here,
What is
that
it?
makes me nervous.
Martikey.
Yeah, it makes me feel bad for me.
Yeah.
I open up here and say, my country will kill me. And yes, I mean, I've got
There are
this.
societies that you can't.
I've got a lot of viewers who will tell me straight up that if their family found out about them, they would be executed in the backyard.
Wow.
I can't
I
imagine.
mean, and none of us here in America could actually imagine that.
Imagine that.
Of course, you know, with certain things in the government shaping and transforming in the way that it is, I wouldn't be surprised
Right.
if all the old people weren't marched out in the street and being put into our head by our own kids in the military. You know, because they're going to be ordered to do it, and either they do it or they'll die with us. You know, or whatnot. I mean, you know, the world is really screwed up, and there's nothing that we can do about that. I encourage the people that are in India or the other countries, and I forget which country the one was in, who was in danger for his life.
I think it was
Started-
Ghana or something. Like
It started with an M.
it was.
It wasn't Moldavia. Anyway, I've got viewers all over the world, and a great deal of them have to fear for their lives just by saying what's on their mind to do with their religion. A lot of them have to worry about being put to death for being gay.
Wow.
And I think I can't say any names on here, and I almost
Right.
really fucked up.
Oh.
You know, but
Yeah.
in all reality, I've got a lot of people on here that have to fear for their lives. Kardaki is one of them, and I can say that on any of the basis to do with religion or anything else that's going on in her life, or his life. I'm sorry.
That's
But,
terrible.
you know, I mean, I know a lot of these people on a personal basis because they're on
Can't
my
you just skip across the border
on
or
my
something?
Facebook page and stuff. All right, Nicole, come right back if you can. This seems to be a pretty good topic today.
Hi.
Who is gonna split? Oh, okay, Angie. It was a blessing being at one with you, and come back and talk to us again. We're not doing away with the show, just rechanging the times on it. I love you, girl, and I'll see you on Facebook. Anyway, yes, a lot of really dangerous situations here with people and computers being spotted for who they are. And a lot of times you'll see that there's nothing on their profiles on the basis
Oh.
that if they were to put anything there, then they would be found out.
Glenn says, being a gay man, woman myself, I have been bullied, attacked both physically and mentally, but even I find out it horrifying that some of my people are still being persecuted for love.
It is.
It's
It's
amazing.
really sad, and you would think that it would be
Is
outdated.
Glenn in the U.S.?
I can't say that one way or the other. I'm really, even if I do know,
Okay.
then for
Can I
her own
ask them?
protection. Huh?
Can I ask? No, I guess not.
You can, and if she feels like it, then she can answer it. I mean, but in all reality, I urge people not to get this kind of information at
Okay.
all.
Okay.
I do freely that I am in America,
Right.
and that I'm in, you know, sometimes different other things, but it depends on how I feel at times.
Right.
And right now, I kind of feel restricted
UK.
from saying,
Oh, well.
you know, in the
Well.
UK and Liverpool. And I kind of had a feeling that Glenn was, and I'm pretty sure that she's told me before,
Mm-hmm.
you know, but I have so many people I talk to, 7,000 subscribers, you know, between my two channels. But
See, that's never
Kardaki
happened
was
to me.
bashed, and
But I
and
put
she
myself
realized,
out there.
and he realizes, and I always do this. I mean, I know that you're male, but we had this conversation and all of that before. But Kardaki is the one out of everybody in this room who's
Sorry.
the most in
It's
danger
okay.
for their lives.
Oh, that's terrible.
You know, and so, hey, Talon, good to see that you could join us.
Wing dancer.
Better late than ever, and
Nice.
yes, you are late. I mean, an hour and 45 minutes, and generally about, what, 15 to 30 minutes longer than what we would usually still be in session here. You know,
Sorry.
but when you get into a good conversation, then what can you
Yeah.
do, right? It's a damn good show today. A damn good show. But I want to go back over
It's
here.
gone everywhere. The topic. It's everywhere.
What's today's topic? It's
New.
about new paganism and
Levels.
soulmatism, as well as
What was it called?
genderless
Soulmatism.
soulmate, genderless spirits, or spirits being genderless. And so those are basically the main three
It's kind of
topics.
what we're
I think.
talking about at the moment.
But I kind of
yeah.
want to go back to new
levels.
paganism because I really brought Caitlin here as the main guest, and we kind of just walked all over her
Aw, I
and left her
love you.
behind.
This is my daughter.
And she's very, very empathic,
made
by
that.
the way, very emotional. She can break into tears by me just talking about her being able to
Both
break
of us.
into tears.
Oh,
And
They're both
not to
Aquarians.
mention, she can too. Her own aunt can as well. But Caitlin is a new pagan. She just discovered last night, actually, at Beltane, that she's going to start studying wholeheartedly. And up till now, she's been caught up in the dramatic novels, and there's got to be
Ooh,
that are on the pagan basis, actually. And there has to be something that would draw us in to begin with, or call our attention to something that would attract us to it, or whatever. And so she found her path, just like a lot of us do. Some of us, found our pathways because of Gothism, and it seemed attractive, and then we started studying,
She was doing
and it
that.
drew us in, and
I'm
so
kinda
here we
still
are.
in that phase. Like I love black. I love
Black
it
is
all.
my favorite color.
I love it all. I love
And
the
white
entire.
is mine.
I love the entire goth scene, goth scenario. I
Yes,
love the
you do.
I was
clothes.
in the
I love
the
the
vampire
people.
bars up
Oh
to
my
age
God,
42, and he had to
Really?
calm. Yeah, until whenever I met Austin, and he had to calm me down.
I didn't even know there was a thing called the vampire
The vampire bar was actually it was called. Let's see. Shit. Anyway, there's Numbers Bar for one, which is a gothic nightclub in Houston. And me and my friends were hitting that up periodically, and they would have vampire events. And then there was a vampire event that was going on every week, and it moved around from bar to bar. And me and my friends, actually some of my students, would hit that every week, you know. And so, yes, a big partier here from way back,
Wow.
you know. And
Wow.
Austin, who is, what, 20 years younger than me? No, 23 years younger than me.
I don't know how many years, but I knew it was some.
Anyway, I'm double his age. But it took him to come into my life, stabilize me out, and calm me down.
That's awesome.
I was wild. I was
Which
a
you would
wild
think
child.
it's backwards.
Yeah, you would think. It'd be
But,
a
you
little
know, and, so, yeah, but I love me for who I was. I do.
But you had to go through that.
I can understand
Right.
all my Gothic followers on YouTube, and I can teach the Gothic community or the vampire community. I can understand everybody. Kind of like that other gift I told you about that I have, you know, to do with myself. I've lived in every way, form, or fashion. I've got gifts now that puts me in touch with everybody's lifestyle
You
and
really
what I
do.
need to know about them. And, you know,
Oh,
I mean,
He says
so
lovely.
basically, you know, okay, but I'm gonna go back to you. Okay,
Mhm.
you've been a new pagan, and you've decided yesterday basically that you were going to become more serious about this. And a lot of people on here can feel coincidental with you because a lot of them are new
Yeah.
and trying to learn. I believe Glenna's one of those, although she does have a fair amount of knowledge of paganism because she catches on really fast. Actually, I have to give kudos to Glenn because that is one very progressive student, and I love her to death. She's very sweet. Her head's in the right place on things, you know, and I believe that you're very knowledgeable too when you want to be. I think you're a loose cannon. I can read that in you,
extremely.
you know, but
at least she owns it.
No filter.
and she owns
None.
it. She agrees with what I said about her being relatively new, but she's also a very knowledgeable sort, very inquisitive, ask a lot of questions.
Very
Could be the
curious.
kid that would get on your nerves sometimes, pulling on your shirt tail, but you love them for who they are.
Mom.
But you love them for who they are. And so, of all the people that I've known on Facebook or YouTube, Glenna is one of my kids that is one of the problem children. But she's also one of my very beloved at the
Aw.
same time. And I couldn't do without my Glenn on the show either.
Oh, she said you
You
just
know.
made me cry a little.
Oh. And she's very, very sweet. And she's open in a lot of
And she's so
ways with
pretty.
who
She's
she is.
beautiful.
You know, she is very
You're so
pretty, and
pretty,
she'll
and
look
I'm over here,
different
I
in a
look
lot
like
of the
a
pictures you see at different
really?
times.
Mm.
She changes her style up,
Cool.
and she does good. Very creative. I can
Awesome.
read by the way she is. She's a very creative sort. And if I'm wrong about that, then you can correct me, but I don't feel that I'm wrong.
Yeah, I don't
Anyway,
think you are either.
but you know, as far as your path goes, you've said that you're heading toward more of an eclectic path.
Mhm.
You've just really started owning the idea that you're going to be studying very wholeheartedly,
Mhm.
and you don't know of any direction
loves the
or where you're
Fae.
going to go.
I'm glad you brought that up. Nordic Witch brought up a really good thing when she said that she was
Draconic.
draconic.
Draconian.
I am obsessed
It
with
sparked
dragons.
with you.
I'll ask her. I
Yeah, she
always
is.
call on dragons.
It's funny that
Always,
that
that's-
resonated
So
with
there
me
are
when she said it,
pathways
too.
for everybody, isn't there?
Draconian.
Do you
that's
know
crazy.
that the
I just
gays and
wouldn't-
lesbians' favorite deity, or most used as happy?
is what?
Happy. A hippopotamus.
I'm not surprised.
I love hippos.
I love hippos, and of course I'm going to be connected to hippos.
And it's an India
Great.
deity, I believe. I won't say that I know everything about it, but it happens to be a favorite deity to my best gay male friend, Rodney, who you've seen on the show, actually, by the way, if you watch some of my other videos. But I used to pick at him, and I mentioned this on another show, that I used to pick on him because it would make him burst out laughing every time I did it. Happy, hold on. Over people.
Sorry, we're terrible about that.
Happy the hippo dancing around the dance floor in her flying tutu and polka dot shoes. Pink tutu and polka dot shoes.
Wow.
Oh, did I not just make you all laugh?
That's hilarious.
Anyway, I used to do that to him all the time because whenever he would laugh, he would just glow.
Aw.
And unfortunately, he's so smitten with his own depression and he refuses to pull out no matter what you try to do. And so, no matter how much I try to invite him over, you can't get him out of the house. He lets his family control everything he does because although he's not working right now, they make him work for him and do every single thing. I mean, they literally called him one day. He was over here visiting, and his cousin was going out and wanted him to go over there and make supper for her 27-year-old son and leave his friendship visit behind to go take care of this 27-year-old man.
I totally.
And I was like, you need to tell that bitch to get a grip.
Thank you.
You know what I mean? Hey, Mitch, it's good to see you.
Hi.
And if you don't know, and if you're new in the room, not new in the room, but if you're just coming in, Talon and Mitch, this is Cindy Lou, who you've probably seen in the writing before. She's literally visited the show through the text other times. Also was the one responsible for the entire show of the unboxing.
That I didn't know she was going to do.
You know, of the gifts that she brought to me that day. Hey, Tammy, how are you doing? So some just peeking in now.
That's awesome.
So, I mean, this show goes on and on.
It could, because everybody's on different times.
Everybody's happy.
Yeah.
And there's
It's
a
a
lot to
wonderful
cover.
thing.
So, I mean, and if I wanted to, I could actually take this video down. I could cut it into 3 parts, believe it or
And make
not.
3 different shows.
And make 3 different shows, if not more. Hi, sorry I missed you all. Just got home. And I know, and I love you guys. I'm sorry that some of you have to miss it. A lot of you are on different time zones and or working or are sleeping at this point in time. There are people that are watching the show right now where the sun is just going down. There are people watching the show right now who are setting up at 3 o'clock in the morning. There are people that are watching the show that are 6 hours ahead of us.
6 minutes.
6 hours ahead of us. And that would generally be the UK, I believe. That would be 6 hours ahead of us.
Across the pond. Yep, I think so.
Australia too.
You know, that would mean that some of them watching the show, it's 11:30 at night right now. And that would be Australia. That would be generally the London or England. And I see several different people from those territories.
And you have
Let's
some
see.
lurkers too.
And we have workers. And
I'm lurking.
I take my hats off to you guys that are trying to tune in to the live streams while you're sitting at your desk and trying to cut in wherever you can. And that would be one that actually had to leave a little bit ago. Shit. And she's our... You know what? There's a lot of them. And some of them that are just getting off work and tuning in right now.
We are in Texas.
And, you know, we're in Texas. I don't mind saying that.
Whoop, whoop.
And right now it is 5:30 where we are. No, it's 11:30. Where did I lose my time?
Good.
Shit.
You lost your time in the UK.
You did.
I lost my time in the UK. I'm somewhere over there with you, Glenn. I'm somewhere over there with you. And maybe my spirit can pay you a visit here in a while. But yes, it is right now 11:30 where I am, and somebody says it's 5:30 where they are, and maybe that's where I got lost. Maybe I was reading some of my viewers here, and I connected into somebody.
You did.
I can go. Trust me. I can
Yeah.
sit here and I can talk to you, and I
be
can astral
somewhere else.
project.
I know,
Come back.
it's so cool.
But,
I
you
did
know-
that one time and I was really little. That was the only time I was ever able to do it. I had laid down to take a nap, and all of a sudden I just started floating up. And I was looking down at myself, and I'm like,
I remember that.
Wake up!
Canada, Canada, Ontario.
When she woke up and told me about that, I was like, don't do that again.
You know that
Not
the
while you're
very
little.
first time that I actually astral projected was an accident like that. And I mean, don't get me wrong, I had tried many times
I thought I had just
and
died.
was getting frustrated and all of
I
that.
was so scared.
And then it was right after all of the trying and more or less giving up that I let my mind go. I was watching a movie. I think it was Braveheart or some shit like that.
Oh,
I like that movie.
You know, whenever it first came out. Or Dances with Wolves whenever it
Favorite.
first came out. It was
Love
one of those
Dances with
two.
Love Dances with Wolves.
And I was watching the show, but I had seen it so many times, so I let my mind drift. And I was just moving into my new apartment. And before I knew it, and my apartment was so small that I put my bed in the living room. And I wanted, in the daytime, whenever I was awake and vibrant, I wanted to be where there was a lot of light. And the apartment had absolutely no windows. But it did have a glass sliding door in the back room. And, you know, those are real big, especially in respect to a bedroom. And so I made that my living room, and I made, you know, but I like to lounge, you know, and all of that wherever I'm at. Anyway, before I knew it, I had let myself go off in my head, and I was thinking about where I was going to hang my pictures. And before I knew it, my eyes had dropped to the bottom of the TV where it was sitting on my dresser. And on one of the golden knobs on the dresser, my eyes went there, and then I lost myself. And before I knew it, I was trying all the pictures that I had leaning against the wall in a pile on the walls and where they would go. And then I went, whoa, what the hell? You know.
How cool is that?
And whenever I came out of that, I knew exactly where I wanted to hang that light to midnight blue, because it was a daytime over a foggy lake, you know, picture. And it was all blue, but of different tones, and a silver picture frame. And I knew that I wanted to hang that right over my black entertainment center in the other room, where the sunlight would, or not the sunlight, but the daylight would actually hit it. And I knew where to hang all my other pictures too.
So where did you go to learn that, though?
Where did I go to learn
You
what?
said to learn where to put it. Where did you go?
I was standing at the foot of my bed.
And saw it all
Oh,
up.
read Tammy's.
Whenever I came out of, whenever I lost myself and I went into astral projection, then I was standing at the foot of the bed, looking at myself on the bed for a
Okay,
brief
that's what I
moment.
missed. Okay, gotcha.
And then I started walking around the apartment, trying
Okay.
these pictures up,
Okay.
and I didn't even pick them up.
Gotcha.
I mean,
see.
even my astral
Just-
body didn't. But all of a sudden, I had each one in my hands
Right, gotcha.
and knew right where to hang them. And so, whenever I came out of it, I said, "Oh, that is the perfect place for that."
Okay, gotcha.
And then, do you know that still today is like the strongest point of ever being in astral projection that I've had?
Is it astral projection when you feel like you've had like a near-death experience? Is that the same thing, you think?
When you're in astral projection and what?
Do you feel like astral projection and like a near-death experience would be
Oh,
the
it's the same thing, yeah.
That's
I mean,
what I was
you're
wondering.
leaving your body. And that's what Tammy's talking about here. When she was in the hospital, she could hear everything that the doc said. And like watching TV was probably off to the side or up above, you know, and seeing everything that's going on. And that's a horrible experience, actually.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah, it's terrible.
I mean,
done
I
it.
did astral project accidentally a lot in the hospital when I was going through my radiation treatments and chemotherapy. And I could see Rodney sitting and sleeping in the chair, because he stayed with me for all 8 days whenever I collapsed.
Aw.
You know, he went home in time to bathe and clean up and come right back.
Aw.
And he had to drive about a 45-minute drive every.
There you go. You're back in.
Okay, I'm sorry, people. We had a momentary disconnection. I hope you're all still there and that we didn't lose you. But as I was saying, you know, he stayed with me for all 8 days after I collapsed. And I did a bit of astral projecting outside of myself while I was in the hospital. And there is a lot of spirit activity within the hospital.
Oh,
So
wow, yeah.
it's not unheard of that it would draw you into the same frame of mind
Right.
or same position. Hey Nicole, good to see you back, and great to see you're still here. I didn't know you had actually came back into the
Yes.
room.
Yeah.
But let's see. Anyway, yes, we did lose the connection for a short bit. Anyway, anything that anybody else would like to say briefly before we end it, or is everybody all pretty much talked out? I think
I'm just really excited to begin this and to experience everything that comes along with it, and the people, the beauty, the joy, my nature.
how long would you say that you've actually practiced as just a spiritual person without a notation of dedication?
Probably all my life.
Just kind of on a lighter scale?
On the lighter scale, and just, but all my life.
Yeah, that's just
I've
kind of
always,
who we were.
it's just
all of us.
always been who we were. I've always seen spirits. I've always heard spirits. I've always talked to spirits. I've always had spirits in my ears. I've had things happen that were just unbelievable.
Yeah.
I've had things happen that were frightening, and it has all been part of the culmination of where I'm going with this, and I'm excited about it, and I'm not scared anymore.
That's so good, and right now you're just the two older within spirituality are actually just trying to shape their own path, and this one here, Caitlin, is just trying to kick hers off.
Yep.
You know, and that's a beautiful place to be. A lot of times I reflect back on the past whenever I was just beginning and it was all new to me, and I was like, you know, it was just so amazing, and I loved it. You
Like
know,
my head
I'm
just
so
gone.
excited.
Like,
I'm
I don't
so-
just
It
want to
really
open my
does.
witchy door. I want to Spartan kick that bitch in, okay?
Oh.
I want it to just fly open because I'm very curious to discover just how powerful really I can be.
It's crazy because in the morning, in early morning, me and Delina are sitting there, and I told her something yesterday. It was kind of funny. I said, "Watch this."
I'm Delina, by the way.
This is Delina.
by the way,
That's
Tammy, if
Delina.
you refresh your stream and go back to it, you'll probably open it back up. But we went offline for just a brief second. The internet connection must have got lost. If you do go out of the room and then back into it, it'll probably open back up to a full picture on you. If you hear my voice right now. Anyway, so really just opening your pathway up.
So yesterday we were sitting there, and I said, "Watch this," and I stood up and I clapped my hands 3 times really fast, you know, like real hard, because I wanted to call spirit and let them know that I wanted them. And this is kind of a hoodoo-y type thing. And so I showed her that, and then I just took my hands and I put them out like this, and she started to cry. And she said, "It's amazing." I mean, she could literally feel it, because I hadn't really showed her or let her see it or feel it, because I pull it in, I keep it in. And so it was just, I think they are just as powerful. I don't doubt my own at all.
When she shows me something, it feels, and I cry. I can't help it. I'm a water bearer.
You're
Everything
emotional
goes
as
with
shit.
everything goes with water with me. And when she shows me something powerful and it moves me, it's like someone drops a bomb and I'm hit with the concussion of it. It is so powerful. She is going to be a powerhouse and a force to be reckoned with when she
busts out
and
lets herself go.
when it's all on the table. Wow.
But you will
and I want to
too.
follow that.
I think you
I
will too.
I feel it.
I told you that.
I
Yes.
think
feel
you
it,
will
and
too,
it
but yours
moves
is
me.
more empathic. And
Very
you
empathic.
draw
Same
into
thing.
everybody else. Now, you have a kind of a rough, tough-looking exterior.
Yes.
Right.
Okay, and so you could give off a wrong vibe, actually, to
She
the
said I'm
people
a
that
cinder.
just, for people that just try to read the outside, you know,
Mhm.
and you know the saying, you can't judge a book by its cover. A lot of people would misjudge you by that.
Oh, and they
you
do
know,
all
but
the time.
empathically speaking, you're a powerhouse. But see, that could be a curse as well as a blessing.
No doubt.
And I mean, she can tell you I have gifts that would be labeled the same. I mean, no doubt.
It's almost
know.
like when I walk into the room, whatever mood I'm in, the other
She
person
sends
will
it.
absorb it.
I told her, I said, "You're not just
They turn
empathic, you're a
into that.
sender." And what she does is, if she walks into the room, and you could be in the best mood ever, buddy, I tell you what, that negativity,
Welcome
that
back.
crap, that whatever. She's like Pigpen with this stuff following behind her in Charlie Brown. You know, just this is her, and it makes me crazy. I'm like, oh, come here and let me sage you or something.
I'll walk in and I'll
Palo
go,
Santo.
sage me.
I mean, it's truly, and I told her, I said, that's what your problem is with your boyfriend at the moment. And I didn't say anything, but that, you know, you send that negativity, or whatever you're feeling, you send it to whoever. If you're in a great mood, you send that. If you're in a bad mood, you send that. And so that's her thing. A psychic
I
vampire.
repel more than I gather.
Yeah.
I think that we all tend to be at some points, but
I'm
it's
so
when
private.
we're around elements of the same as us, for the most part. Like, I'm a fire element, and I'll take from everything. I'll break all my equipment around here, especially electronics. Okay, but that's because I need to get energy somewhere, because I'm putting it out all the time, especially for you guys online. They would do the same thing. Everybody would drain mainly on their biggest element. Like, let's say that there's another fire element around, I could tend to bleed them dry if I'm depleted. Or she could tend to draw another water element if she was depleted sometimes, and so on and so on. But it's who you are, it's what you need, and you take it whether you know it or not. And sometimes when you're a stronger practitioner, when you've been there for a long time, you can control that. So, I mean, when somebody tells me somebody else is a psychic vampire, what goes through my mind is that pretty much everybody is, depending on the situation and the time and who you're around. We can all tend to be that way, but it doesn't mean that it's a good thing either. And so we try to correct that in ourselves. And some people are so new that they don't know to correct it. And Nicole, you're right. For Talon, it is a time where he could take this new piece of clay and meld it into something that is more secure, more knowledgeable, and able to embark on that pathway, because everybody needs a little help, a little boost sometimes. And you know, I mean, a lot of people are ignorant of a certain thing or whatever, and that's where it takes for somebody to teach them. And so whenever you can lend a hand, this boy probably needs your help. Let's see, psychic vampire for sure. I covered that. I don't think so, Leanna, for you're too kind and warm-hearted. You all are. As
make
far
her
as
mad.
what goes.
Don't make her mad.
No, so I think that they're talking about psychic vampire because of the guy that Talon Wing Dancer was talking about, I guess. Is that what they're talking about?
I don't know. I don't think so. Tammy might disagree about everybody being able to be psychic vampires. That sometimes is what I get. You know? But everybody has their own opinion about it. So, I mean, that's arguing semantics to me. I mean, the fact of the matter is, I think that we all get drained. We all get depleted. We all find ourselves tired. And so we'll drain from something. And whether it's another person or an extension cord,
I literally get sick.
then we will do that, do I?
I literally get sick.
When you get drained or depleted? And so you take from something, whether it's the sun or whatever.
That's what I do. I go outside to gather my energy, my good feelings.
Isn't that to some
Water.
degree
I
being
go to water.
a psychic vampire, though?
I think so.
I mean,
You're
only
charging.
you're taking from other things. So in the way that the term psychic vampire is being put out there,
Chicken feather lady.
in the way that the psychic vampire is being put out there, it's more of a mind-to-mind thing with people to people. I think that to a degree we do. I mean, you know, but that's only my take on things, and that's all I can do is give my feelings on things, because I'm the only one that knows how I feel, and I can only say what I feel or think, you know, otherwise I'd be lying.
And I think
You know, if I
people
just
that are
went by
less-
what I thought everybody else thought,
Right.
you know, then I would get a little lost there in my own feelings.
I spend
And I
more
think,
time with
too-
animals than I do people.
I think too
I
that
do
if
too.
somebody is not as aware of their need for energy, or they're not as aware of their path, or they're not aware of whatever, I think that
a lot of
sometimes
times they're
they
not
will
aware.
take energy from the stronger people around them. And as one of those stronger people, you have to either allow them to take a little bit and help themselves, and then stop them. Like now,
You do have to cut it off.
everybody
Even
in
if
my
it were
house
blood
is
out of your
open.
veins, at some point you
Right,
gotta
you gotta
cut it off.
And in my house, we're all open now, and so if I feel like she is sucking too much stuff from me, I'm gonna be like, "That's enough.
Yep. She
Back up
stops
for
me.
a second, because
And she did say the word sucking, not
sucking."
F bling blong bloom. Anyway, Tammy
Did
corrects
I
her.
sound like it?
Tammy corrects
On this
me
time
on
of
what
day.
she. Listen, Tammy corrects me actually on what my thoughts were that she was trying to say.
Okay.
And she says that she wasn't saying that we can't all be psychic vampires at sometimes. She wasn't going there at all. What she is saying is disagreeing that people may or may not know
Right.
as to whether they're taking from us.
Right.
That's true.
And
she says we're all warm-hearted, so
we're all warm-hearted and we're
Right.
being good. And so what Tammy's take is on things, I gather, is that she believes that they know exactly what they're doing. And that's true. A lot of them might, those that are more devious, but I really feel that there are new people that may not even be spiritual, or may be spiritual but not directed. They may be ignorant to it.
Right.
You know, and a lot of them don't even know what the word is, psychic vampire.
Right. See, like, this is my daughter. And so she sometimes will just, for whatever reason, come out and want to start an argument with me. And it's
That's
seriously.
kids for you, honey.
Right, it is kids for you. But sometimes I think it's because she needs
Honey,
that
I need
energy
coffee,
from
please.
me. And so that can sometimes,
Your pink cup.
so I think sometimes that your children,
You're very
if you
welcome.
have children that are gifted, meaning witchy, whatever, they might come out, they might say something to you that seems like it's such a an argumentative state, but what it is they're actually drawing that energy from you because they need that type of energy from you for whatever reason. I don't think they mean to
Absolutely.
do that.
A lot of them don't know.
Right, and that
Absolutely.
creates that energy that they need.
Is anybody thinking that we could literally do a marathon here?
Oh,
Absolutely.
God.
How,
Yes.
until till we
Stay
drop
here. We could
marathon?
do like a 24-hour lock-in.
You know, I mean, maybe
You know they do that.
You know, maybe we should do that.
should.
That's what I was
I
saying.
think it would
Deborah
just
would
be
have
a
a
powerful.
duck.
I mean, we would have to load up on the junk food.
Oh my God.
The pots of coffee.
And I'm trying to eat paleo. What is this?
Oh, I want to vote right now. I want to vote.
No.
There are 15 people in the room. I want to vote right now. How many people would like to see the four of us here conduct a talkathon?
Oh my God. That would be insane.
I would
Based
totally
on
So, Nicole.
Also, Austin would have to be in on that, and so we would try to
Okay,
pick a
well then
day
Deborah has to
where
come.
he would be off,
Happy weekend.
because that would add another spectrum
Yeah.
here as an agnostic, you know, person that's not targeting getting into paganism at all, but somebody that acknowledges
And my
there's a
mate,
bigger
too.
power out there.
There
And
is.
Mitch
My
says,
mate,
hell yeah,
For
Yep.
just
see?
set up some boundaries, or
Oh God,
could
here
be
we go.
something
There we
other
go.
than
Oh, Lord.
person's will,
We got lagged.
entities, for example. Do what?
We would have so much fun, y'all.
And we would have a lot of fun. We
It
would
would
have
be
to
so
get
much
the
fun.
fruit cakes. We would have to get the
the
popcorn.
nights-
Oh, I will
the
make.
punches.
I will make something light, but I will make quesadillas
Are you killing me?
and homemade stuff. It is so good.
You like to cook?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. She doesn't cook for us hardly ever, but she did make some badass lasagna not too long ago.
Right?
Oh, she said no more screaming. I
sorry,
lost my
hon.
earbud.
Oh,
Sorry, baby.
Oh.
We're so excited.
did we got
got
loud.
loud.
We did. You know what's so
Yeah.
funny though
Your
is
blood
that
stickers
Deb,
out.
my mate, is totally not a witch, anything like that. But what she does is she lives with witches.
She supports.
Well,
And
you
she
know,
supports all of us.
She's
Glenn
like our
actually.
familiar.
Who supports you?
With Deborah.
Deborah. Oh, Debbie. Deb.
No.
No.
That's a no. She didn't know.
Yeah.
She
What?
hates the word
Debbie.
She doesn't like to be called that.
Okay.
So
Well,
no.
no, that is
You
too
want a lot of
frilly for
fire
her
under
by
her
far.
Ooh.
That is too frilly for Deb.
I
Yes.
called her that
Nicole
one
wants to come.
time.
But
Oh, that's funny.
Nicole,
That would
where are
be
you
fun.
at? Where are you at?
Oh,
I don't
you
even know. It's an
8
8-hour
hour
drive here to there. Anyway, I mean, yeah, we would have to let you know so that you would have that option, as well as anybody else that was watching the stream and wants to be a part of it.
You can't.
We could do a
look at
24
her
to
hair
48 hour marathon.
Oh, 48 hour. No. I'm too old. I'm too old. That's not gonna happen.
let's say a
You need
24-hour
your rest.
marathon.
Good heavens.
And Glenn
Can't we
made,
just do 8?
and
What's wrong
Glenn,
with 8? 8 hours.
what's wrong with 24?
Oh God.
And Glenn,
I'm down for
Glenn had a
24. She
point
wants to
here.
come. She's an 8-hour drive
I
from here.
know. Somebody else said it's
Oh,
8
she's
hours.
in Kansas.
Uh-huh.
Just take the local tornado.
Take the local
You're in
tornado.
no time.
We're not in Kansas anymore,
And then
Coco.
back to
Don't forget you're familiar.
Yeah,
Anyway.
don't forget Toto.
But I was trying to point out, Kyle's motherfucking yeah.
That's
Anyway, Glenn,
hilarious.
that's funny. But
Nicole has
but
the
she
best hair
said we
color
could do a
ever.
ritual. And you know, I mean,
Oh.
we could absorb some of the time, but actually doing a candle working. And you've got to realize, all of you guys that keep shouting out, do a ritual, do a ritual, do a ritual. You've got to realize that the proximity of this camera, it cuts off at one point and it cuts off at another. So there is no drawing of a circle work after we've gotten started. But we can perhaps set the camera up higher so it would catch more of the room and set up my kotatsu, which is my altar, and all the altar tools, and do a little light ritual around there or whatever. But you got to realize that in a 12 by 24 building, we're pretty much prohibited, especially since we have a lot of furniture in here and all of that likewise. But it's not saying that we couldn't put together a little light candle ritual. Maybe even a channeling. None of you have ever seen me channeling. And it could scare the shit out of you because my voice changes.
Okay.
My eye color changes and my shape and all of that, depending on how far deeply you go with me. But a witchathon, a talkathon, a channeling, maybe we could do a channeling, maybe we could do a candle working, and we could line up a few things, and some of that it would have to be a sitting back and just chatting.
Chilling.
Because a 24-hour period is a long stretch
It
of time,
is, and
especially for a
ritual
couple of
takes
old
energy.
hussies.
I'm
Yes.
telling you.
Ritual takes energy, and especially if you are deeply into it, not just a light ritual, but a deep ritual. Takes
How about
a
a
lot of
chanting to
energy.
go with that, where half of us come in like halfway behind the other person's chant, calling on or channeling the spirits or whatever, and then you can go around. I mean, we can do a lot of different
Let
work.
me tell you what, we'd have this place.
This would be good.
We
And
could
Tammy
like
would
this
like to
place
see
would
me
be
channel.
like the what is it the things like in Vegas, you know, those
Yeah, the.
that's what this place is gonna look like.
Did you get my coffee?
What are they called?
I don't
Honey, did you
remember.
get my coffee?
Like those spotlight
it's
things, those
He's making
You know
the
what I'm
coffee.
talking
Yeah,
about?
they're like big Hollywood lights.
Yeah.
That show.
so like last night
Listen to all these biddies that
I'm sorry.
We're bad.
it was bad. I was told last night that I was sleeping, and while I was sleeping I was doing some kind of ritual. And
And
I've done that more
sometimes
than
she
once.
does a ritual with herself.
Yeah.
That
I
would
don't need
probably
to do a ritual by myself
That would
because
be
my
more down
rituals
my
are
aisle.
handled. This one is the ritual by herself. Thank you very much.
Hey, I think we've all been
Oh, and
there.
Nicole, I was
I
trying to
think
show you my
everybody's
hair.
done
It's all
that.
different
better at
colors.
it.
Get LL some coffee, Nicole said. Anyway,
I think he's
no,
gonna
I
slip
think,
something in your coffee.
I think that would be an excellent idea, and I'm all game for it.
Oh,
We would have
I
to
would
choose a
totally
time
do it.
whenever he's not working the next day, even if whether he wants to participate or not. You know, and I'm sure he would want to be in on some of it, but you know, because he would have to sleep. You know, if he was going to work or whatever the next day or what. But we could slide a lot of stuff in there. That's enough time to do a channeling, to do a ritual, to do a chanting, a candle burning. I mean, we could fill a lot of stuff in there, and then
I'm
talk,
all about candles.
you know,
Oh, yeah.
about all of that. And I think it could be fun as shit. You know, and then some parts of it, if we were going to do any kind of a larger rite, or even a minor one for that matter, we may have to angle the camera up at the beginning, at close to the ceiling, so it could actually get everything in its view.
I see.
Because you got to realize that this camera is only gonna, you know, house
Pick up
so
so
much of the
much.
picture.
Right.
So it has to be up higher to get more of it.
Yep.
Hmm.
And
Well,
we
you're
would
right.
set
You
up
put it
in the
up there.
You're
kotatsu.
What if you
You're
had
right.
like
You know,
another one
and
over
so on.
here?
Well, it doesn't matter
Well, you're
because
still
it,
gonna
it
get the
loads it
same area.
directly to YouTube.
Yeah.
You have no
You
editing
can't really
ability.
do two.
That's true.
You know, and so that would be kind of rough. But you know, I have the altar and I have all the tools and everything, and
Just tell me what to
or
say.
just bringing candles and goodies for the night and set
I'll
up.
gather some more chicken feathers.
Choosing the right.
People want chicken feet.
Chicken feet?
Oh, they're calling it a witchathon.
I don't
which
know
is-
about chicken feet then.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Oh God, you just cut that, girl. You're
Yeah,
way
I
behind.
know, right?
Where were you
You're
at?
way
I was
behind.
reading Glenn's about the draining thing, so I mean,
I'm
yeah.
still on laugh my ass off self ritual.
Really?
Let's see. All right,
And
and
we had
also
the
we
shine
have.
The sun
We
is
also
shining.
have that
What can
one
I
is
say?
in Vegas, which isn't that far really. Almost about what, 12 hours away.
Keep it up. You're gonna have all of
I'm gonna have all of
YouTube
these
at your
people
house.
here, and I'm gonna have a house full.
They
You
can
know
stay
what?
right across the street.
You know what? I'm okay with that.
No.
That's a terrible place to
If
stay.
someone has been used in sex magic, unknowingly and unwillingly, is there a way to cleanse and break the tie to vagina and womb? Yes, but unfortunately it would take more sex magic. God, we're all scared of that. No, it could be a lot worse, right?
I am so afraid of that.
I mean,
It's
I'm sitting here going,
unbelievable.
what?
If someone has been used in sex magic, it could only be my best dream ever.
Oh, Lord.
No, really and
I'm just
truthfully,
kidding. No,
you don't
it's
want
not
to.
really.
really
it's not
and
the truth.
truthfully,
You do not want
there
to.
are
I'm just joking.
different types of sex magic,
I
and
know,
it could be
and I
used
don't
darkly
want
or
scary.
lightly.
I don't want anything scary.
And so we have to be
I'm so
careful.
afraid.
Person
That
is talking about dark, obviously.
Yeah.
See, we have to be careful because TM might have suffered a lot of consequences due to this.
Yeah.
And yes, there are ties that can be broken to that, and you, for one thing, need to break your ties to the person
Yeah.
that did this
absolutely.
and never see them again, obviously.
Absolutely.
For another thing, you need to hold two fingers up in their face before you break those ties and say, everything that you've done to me, I've done to you already.
Yeah.
And by the way, you can expect a shitload more.
That is straight.
That's
voodoo,
what you
baby.
need
Oh,
to
yeah,
tell
you
them.
go.
That way,
feel
I
it.
knew who you were. I knew who you were.
Yeah.
I
and
did,
feel
and
it.
so you didn't have to say it. But yeah,
She did that.
the first thing you can do is you can break all ties with the person, and not, connect into them on that level. Guys, when we're
She's gonna
talking,
kick you out.
I knew it.
but she's right. Stay off the screen because it
Yeah,
can
it's
ruin it.
gonna mess it up.
Anyway, I do not mind getting on to the girls in this room because I am the authority here.
Yes, she is.
Yes, she is.
It is my show, and I am older than any one of them, probably put together.
Oh, I don't know about that.
Oh, how old are you?
49.
I am older than you.
Oh, well, by barely.
I'm still older than you.
Barely.
I'll still whoop your ass,
She's
girl.
older than me.
You could psychically probably throw me all over the place.
Oh, absolutely. I would just, yeah.
And sit back and smile with it with my arms
Oh,
crossed.
really?
as
I'm
we-
happy to hurt
Yes,
myself
exactly.
without
That's
having
terrible.
someone else
I would
join
never,
me.
I would never
That's
do
terrible.
that. You know I wouldn't do that to
Take
you.
it back.
I would never do that to you.
Take it back.
That's a whip sound.
I like her.
That's funny.
Anyway, no, I would never do that to
I
you.
know you would.
Anyway, I love you
accidentally
guys.
Did that to
I mean,
her, and I felt really bad about that.
you did what?
When I got
Psychically.
mad at her, I was
Oh.
so mad at her, and
Is the coffee ready?
I had
baby?
accidentally
Wow.
pushed
She
my
And some
violin
water.
in front of her, and I felt so bad about it. I
She
was
tricked
like,
me and made me fall down
I felt
because we
so
were
bad about
arguing.
it.
She did that. So she is a little powerhouse herself
Yeah.
when she gets.
You definitely got to
Yeah.
learn how to control
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, and now you damn sure better control it because
Yeah.
now I will
Now
get
you're
you.
starting to learn a little bit about magic and witchery, and you'll find out a lot about karma, and it can come back on you when you have knowledge and wisdom. Mind you, and I've never covered this, karma. Nicole is on with everything I'm needing right here and there.
Austin coffee.
But yeah, when you are learning as opposed to not
Oh.
knowing anything, karma can whip your ass a lot more. If you don't know anything and you're ignorant to a pathway, karma won't generally mess with you until you know it.
That's what TM just kind of said. You just tied into what she just said.
Was
Or
married,
he said.
which
I don't
part?
know.
Oh,
No,
word.
she.
She's
If
married
a
for
TM
30
is a
years.
she.
Oh, okay.
She was married for 30 years. Had no idea it was a sorcerer.
He's a
Right, and
sorcerer.
you can be around somebody for, oh, thank you so much, thank you, I love you.
He heard you,
So-
Nicole.
Thank you, Nicole, for
So
getting on his
Is
ass.
she talking about like sex magic and like
Austin
making
just
her
kind of smiles.
like making her spit out kids?
You what now?
Is like the husband making her spit out kids?
No.
Oh,
And I can't talk about her situation
Yeah,
because
you
she's
already-
also.
Oh, I didn't
she's
know.
a-
I'm sorry.
She is
I'm
actually
sorry.
a literal client here in the shop.
I'm so sorry. I was
And
too.
so-
I get it. Okay.
And so, no, I cannot
Sorry.
talk about her situation at all.
Okay. Well, she
Quit
said.
apologizing. Who said it?
I've never met an apologetic witch.
Okay, now
Don't
we're
be one.
paying all the attention on the board, and I'm
Here I
really
go.
getting confused as to where I'm at, and
Okay, I'm
so we're
shutting up.
staggering and stammering.
Okay, so
Don't just shut up.
I
Talk
feel like
to
I
me,
brought
but-
my chaos in when I came in.
Oh.
No. I
Pick
mean,
me.
we're all chaotic when we get to talk, and we're female. And I'm not being prejudiced against female. It's just a known fact. Women reserve the right to talk
We also are very much feeding off of the
of each
energy
other's
of-
energy. There's a lot of us sitting
There's
here.
a lot of it in
There's
here
so
right
much
now.
energy.
And
here, I'm
actually,
sweating,
there's-
and it's cold in here.
We're all very, very psychic, and it is cold in here.
No, but don't do anything about it
Oh,
because I'm already sweating.
You're in menopause.
I'm not in it. I hate
Either
it when
way.
she says that.
Either way, no,
Really
we really do need to practice more. I mean, yes, we could sit around and we can obtain the knowledge and wisdom. But I know I can't speak for any of you guys, but I haven't really been known for practicing for the year and a half, and for very,
Right.
very direct reasons.
Right.
And most of you know that I was sick for a year and a half. She does have kids, though. And I think she's worried about her kids. That's all I can say about it. You know, and to do a lot of, and they're grown by now.
Mine are
But,
grown and I
um,
still worry.
There is a lot of energy in here. There is. And the more this room gets full and it's flowing over, the more you guys are going to have it bubbling out of your TV screens or out of the coffee pot top or whatever. But, you really have to watch yourself. With sex magic, you know, there are ways of dealing with it. But, TM, I know personally that you're dealing with a lot more than that. And so the situation, what we're talking about with sex magic, is relevant to some degree, but is not completely relevant, or is not the only thing that is relevant. And so I'm dealing with you on a personal level with that. And, you know, you have to separate yourself from the idea that it was sex magic. Actually, let's call it what it was. It was just magic. Regardless of what kind or what method of implications things go into your life, you have to step back from it and say, okay, magic is magic, regardless of which way, form, or fashion it was imposed, and take matters into hand and deal with it. The thing is, and I really got to say this to you specifically, and I can say this because it's a pretty open topic, on that nature, you've got to get a backbone. You've got to take your life back. And yes, whenever I get really serious about something, I will put a boot up any one of your asses, because you're respecting me enough as a teacher, I can do so. Okay, so what I would say is you need to get a backbone. You need to take your life back. Quit saying words like, I can't, I won't, I don't, I feel horrible, this, that, and the other, and say, you know what, I'm not going to fucking take it anymore. I'm going to kick some ass here, and this mofo is not going to know anything but my face for the rest of his life. And I will make him know that. Okay? You've got a really horrible situation going on. And I love you to death. I talked to you, 5 hours last night? And that was enough for me to start loving you. Okay? I think you've got a really good heart. You're more empathic than what either one of these two are. But you got a lot on your plate, and that's no doubt. I actually have to reach back into some of my oldest knowledges to deal with your situation, you know, and I will do that wholeheartedly. I mean, you've already paid for my aid in what's necessary here. You've already asked me, you've already talked to me, we've already had the consultation, and now I'm going to kick some major ass for you as I descend and ascend. And I astral project over to a couple of motherfuckers and deal with them
Alrighty
personally. And they will know who has been there and that they've had a little sex magic themselves, only they were put over a fucking barrel. Now, you need to sit there and say, okay, you know what? They weakened me enough, and I'm not going to let them do it anymore. And you've got to work with me. Because there are two ingredients in magic you cannot do without. And that is faith. Okay? Faith in the magic, faith in yourself, and faith in the one doing it, or faith in the higher power. Faith in everything. as well as the fact of the will and the want, the wish to get this over with or done with, depending on what you're doing or what you're dealing with. And so the whole idea here is to say, okay, you know what, I'm stronger than that. Like water off of a duck's back, these people are not going to affect me any longer, and you've got a couple of them. And so now we're going to deal with it. We're going to kick ass, we're going to take names, and you're not going to have to worry about it anymore. But you need to really follow all the instructions that I've given you, and there were a lot of them. You know, but you need to follow those because they're all very, very important. You need to have your dreams back. If you're not dreaming, your brain's not solving issues that are coming up in your daily life. You need your dreams back. Okay, you need your dreams back. Okay, you need your sleep back. You can't function in your daily life without rest. And I saw you. I know. Okay, you've got to have that back. And then you've got to have your strength and your pride back, because you're a spiritualist by nature anyway. And for God's sakes, you're leading people in a form of spirituality, whether you know it or not. And I can safely say, without anybody knowing who you are, that that is yoga. And there was something else. Oh, Reiki. Reiki. And these are two very, very prominent forms of spirituality.
Reiki, absolutely. I love Reiki.
You know.
No idea where it is.
If I needed something done with Reiki, I would have to go to someone else. I don't know enough about it, but I tell you what.
Love you too, Glenn. You take care of yourself and join us again on another show. It was good having you.
Yeah, she needs to draw on that Reiki.
But yeah, these are all very, very good things for you to stay in touch with. You know, you need to get it back. I mean, you've lost almost all of it. Your spirit is in two different places, but they're still attached by that spiritual thread. I saw it. And it can be dealt with, and you've got to have faith. And that's all I'm going to say about this on live stream. So, yeah, you're strong, and you've got to have that back. Your left arm, your right arm, they're still what they used to be. Your attachment to the spirit and your energy, your power, and I'm talking directly to you right now. That attachment still exists. It hasn't been taken. And as long as magic exists on the earth, and it is, because magic is a connection of your will and your wish and direction into energy and pulling all that together and making it happen. That's what magic is. Magic is just something for all of us, and it's just the action of the energy coming together with your will. That's all it is. And nobody can steal that from you because you're still able to think for yourself. And so everything I told you yesterday is valid. That you still have that power. And to hell with him, you know.
And you could possibly be more powerful than the person doing the witchcraft.
Than he is.
Because
witches... Or any one of the three,
people,
actually.
Yeah.
There are three actually working against him.
We look to Reiki people to help us do things. And so do mundane people help, you know, look to Reiki people to or Reiki masters
to help us balance out.
And not only that, but to get rid of the things in our lives that are bad. So you could possibly be more powerful than the person doing evil witchcraft against you.
Right. And
just
you
have
just
to know it.
And just really have to know it and remember that. You know, as for any of us here, you know, the biggest enemy you have is people that you know. That's the biggest. It's the biggest enemy to ever combat because they have personal items of yours. They know your face. They know your complete name. They even may know your birthday, depending on who they are. You know? And if they have those, they have a stronger power against you than anybody else.
Yep.
And with TM, we're talking about two people that she's directly connected with.
That's sad.
You know?
But you could outdo them.
You can outdo them.
And
all you gotta do is...
And I don't know you.
And really, I'm fixing to get you a lot of that back with the work that I'm doing.
Uh-huh.
And then you're going to have free reign to bitch slap their ass around afterwards. And by the way, and you know my smile. You know, you're the one that pointed it out, that little wicked grin that I got. By the way, it is quite all right for you to turn the tides on them and implement justice. Okay, we're going to call this justice because it definitely is. I think the stream is trying to cut out. And if we do lose you guys, then we're gonna go ahead and call it the quits for the day. You know, either way, you know, Tim, you'll be all right, and we're gonna see to that, and we're gonna reinstall things, or actually bring them back out, and reconnect with that shaman inside of you, because you didn't say this, but I know this, that you're shaman. Okay, why do you think that you would choose Reiki? Why do you think that you would choose yoga? This is shaman. You've got tears of hope, girl.
Honey, you believe you're
Take
a
your
badass.
power back,
You're a
sweetheart.
badass.
Absolutely.
Take your power back. Don't let them have it.
But
Take
you
it
know
back
what?
and use it on
But
them.
you know what? They're only as good as you will let them be.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
And we're gonna say, you know what? You're not. They're nothing. You're gonna be talking to them. You're gonna say you're nothing. You are dirt under my feet, and you cannot hurt me in any way, form, or fashion. Talon says, I just last night found out, and that's more of a personal thing. I don't want to go into that on the stream. Struggling maid, and he's actually talking about his boyfriend, I think. Ate last night and gave him a safe place to sleep, half cold. Yeah, that's a lot of things I really don't feel comfortable in talking about openly in the room. I really should go. I am at work. Well, we love you, Nicole, and again, thank you for being there, for helping me on this show so many of the times, and all the time actually. You know, you're great. You're wonderful, and we'll see you as soon as you join us on another show, and you'll always be guided by that. All right.
It's nice meeting you.
Bye, Nicole.
Bye, Nicole.
But anyway, and I think that all of us should actually kill this stream on that note. I
Yeah.
think we've covered enough, and I've helped Tim, and I think that we've answered a lot of really good questions for people, and we talked a lot about our own personal pathway.
I've enjoyed this so much more than I've enjoyed anything in years.
Well, I'll be
Really.
doing it once a week
Well,
in the morning
you
and
might
once
see
a
me
week
more
in
than
the
that.
evening. You know, 2 times a week. Plus, I'll be doing shows in just private camera. And that doesn't mean we can't have slumber party get-togethers
Yeah,
or whatever on
absolutely,
camera where it
absolutely.
isn't a live stream. You know,
Yes.
because I go through and I edit all of that stuff and I do it on a more of a professional camera, a $1,200 camera. And all the editing equipment and all of that, I really invested a
You
lot
miss
into
a
We
lot,
can
that.
even start out with a
sweetheart.
half
We're
a day.
2.5
And see how
hours.
you feel. We can even start out with a half a day and see
No.
how you feel.
Definitely. Yeah.
No, I mean I can.
And-
we can do.
How much have I missed? A lot.
Well, we're
No,
just
sweetheart.
getting ready to end the show, but that's what I love about YouTube is it makes the archives. Omira is another regular, everyday person here, and sometimes she works, so sometimes she can only poke her head into the room
I think
for a
I've missed
moment
her.
or so.
Yeah.
And Omira's a sweetheart. She's my baby girl,
Aw.
Oh.
and she's actually my age, I think. You know.
Yeah.
Or close enough to it, you know, but I call her my baby girl because I always thought by her
She looks
picture,
so young.
I always
does
thought
look
by
really
her
nice.
picture that she was a baby girl, and so I started calling her that, and she was all right with it.
I thought she was
And
like
later
my
on,
age.
she told me that she was older than that.
Oh, wow.
Omira, do you mind telling us how old you are? And you don't have to if you don't want to.
I'm 49.
I'm 50.
46.
Oh, you only
So
had
this
me by
one is-
some months. And you acted like you were so much older than me.
Knowledge and wisdom wise, I might
Oh,
be.
you are. Gosh knows you are. We all know that. We can tell.
You guys are leaving just when I came in, and she cries.
Boo.
Oh, I'm sorry. We were actually to fill you in on
Bye,
something.
Siren.
Thinking about. Bye, Siren. It was good being at one with you as
Bye,
ever.
buddy.
Please come back and join us again. And we really are serious about that talkathon or witchathon, whatever you want to call it.
Absolutely. It was so much fun.
Tammy says she's 57, so
Well,
so
Wow.
far she's got us all a little bit by a few years.
Wow. I would have never
Johnny,
guessed
by a
that.
lot of
Me
years. I'm
either.
the youngest one
No,
here.
never.
Oh, wait. That's Tammy.
Oh,
Uh-huh.
that's
That's
Tammy.
not
That's
Omira.
No, Omira hasn't said how old she
Oh.
is yet, and she reserves that right, I'm
Yeah,
sure.
sure.
Absolutely.
Anyway,
Absolutely.
to say or not
I
to
just
say.
don't care. I've
With
earned
my
every
age, I
right
mean,
to my
it
own.
just, I might be old as Grandma Moses, but it just, 44.
That's not bad.
I told you that she was up there
Mitch is
along with
52.
us.
She's younger than me.
And Mitch is 52, And you can actually tell that these guys are a lot of old souls.
I love it.
They really are.
I love it.
I really feel that Mitch is moderate to old. I feel that Myra is a new soul.
Really?
I really do. Uh-huh. And congratulations on that. You haven't been tarnished and harnessed by the world so much as the rest of us, so it's a good thing. I feel that Tammy is an old soul. TM is definitely an old soul, and I've talked to her personally Skyping, video call.
Right.
And so I've been at one with her, and just yesterday for the first time for a long period of time. So TM is an old soul.
Sheena must have been lurking because that's the first thing I've seen her say.
Sheena is one that hasn't never said anything in the room, but she's back there. And
We see
Sheena
you.
is how old?
She's like, I'm eternally
Sheena's
29.
43. So we have a lot of years in here. Siren is 28. I think that
closer to my age.
I think that Sheena is a new soul. I think that Siren is a moderate to old soul. And Tammy, I think, is an old soul. And I'm not actually talking about how old you are in this life. I'm actually talking about in life's past. How many times you've been there. And Talon is an old soul, but I think he's been touched by the world in such a way. I feel that Talon has had a lot of trials and tests and has been set apart, and he actually has found a way to, I think that though he's very much a people person, I feel that he has subdivided and held people at arm's length for a great while, very protectively and so forth. And he's an old soul, but he's had a lot of hardship. You know,
people are coming
Serena,
out of the woodwork telling
Sable.
us now.
People are in the room that I didn't know was in the room.
Jennifer.
Well, hello everybody, and Jennifer.
Hi.
Jennifer does talk, by the way.
Oh.
Yeah.
But it's very rare.
Yeah, I haven't seen
You
her
know,
talk.
and Jennifer, and they're telling me their age now, and they're saying hi only
think it's
because they
wonderful.
want me to read their age as
Oh,
far as
that's
the past
so
years
funny
go.
because that's what she's doing right now. You saw
And-
that, right?
and-
She fell into reading. She's reading.
Yeah, and they're all doing this to me because they know I'm on that path, and that's why they're all stepping up to say their names.
Yeah.
I got your number, and don't think I don't know what you're doing.
I'm with Sheena.
Serena
I think I've been around a
Sable.
few
Serena
times.
Sable. Let me concentrate a minute because this one is hard.
Serene.
Serene Sable is the hardest one so far for me to read as far as their years go.
Really?
Yeah, and that one just kind of smacked me. I think this character person, I believe that they have a split soul. And I think that one side of that is new and one side of that is old. I bet you this person is very colorful in the way they act. I think they're multi-dimensional. They have a very jokative side, but at some points you can catch them and be shocked by a very serious side. And I think that's the rarer side. So Serene Sable. And you can almost see that in the name. Think of it. You can read people's names that they come up with. Sable is a person of spark. Serene is a person of calmness. And so multi or dual personality,
like softness.
split personality, not really split personality, but split souls, which is a lot deeper than that. And that means that they pulled a couple of different spirits along their pathway. Two of them stayed. They pulled me in on Myra, they definitely did. Let's see, and there was one, Jennifer, I feel is a medium age soul, like right in the middle there. I wouldn't say you're a new soul, and I wouldn't say, which did I already say? I wouldn't say that you're a new soul, I wouldn't say that you're an old soul. I think you're kind of right in the middle. And I do think that you've acquired a lot of lessons in life throughout the lives that you have existed, and so you could almost give off the essence of being an old soul or a new soul at various points in times, depending on what side of the coin you're thinking on. And one day, because I think you have a very goofy and frivolous side, but I think you also have a very smart and acute side, very level and logical. And if I'm wrong about anybody, I mean, you could step up and tell me.
Pipe up, because I haven't never known her to be wrong. I'd like to see what happens.
And the fact of the matter is, it's that you're reading through a computer. It can be a little more complicated.
Yes, it can.
But I think that I've got gifts
What about Sheena?
that surpass. Who?
Sheena.
Sheena.
I
I've
have
already
to go.
said Sheena.
Oh,
I
you
have to
did?
get up.
I did in the beginning. Sheena,
Love
I feel
y'all.
is kind of a
I'm
new
gonna step out.
Hey, will you bring me my phone when you come back in? I'm on
Oh,
Okay, whenever you come back in, then we'll probably have already shut this down and gone into.
I've
other
enjoyed
things.
all of you. Thank you.
Anyway, that's kind of what I feel about what I've read in the names and the people, the personalities, but the path that you're on. Closer than anyone else I've ever met, Serene Sable says. Thank you for that confirmation. I feel you are right, Jennifer says. So we've got
Of
two
course.
confirmations of things that I've said. There might be some women back there that don't want to say. They might be afraid that I'm off key or whatever. And a lot of times people don't want to know things about themselves or acknowledge it. Or
Honey,
some of
Serene
it might.
Sable. That one is
Timmy
like,
says soul splintering ceremony for calling back those parts lost. That's very important to know too. Hard to read these kind of folks. Yes, I agree. And Jennifer says thank you.
Is that your?
oh, of course.
I'm actually kind of curious. Am I? What kind of soul would I be?
You
to
would be
step
a
out
new
for just
soul.
moment?
You're
I'm
definitely
new?
a new soul.
Okay.
Yes.
There's no service.
And
in
whenever
it.
I say a new soul, you have to realize, and that's a note for all of you guys. When you hear me say that you're a new soul, I'm a very, very old soul. And so whenever I say a new soul, it could mean that you're a couple of 100,000 years old. I just don't want to go into all of that
You take it.
about myself or about you because it's for you to find out on your own pathway for the most part. So, I mean, you know, the fact of the matter is that we all still learn for so much of the time. Are you out for now?
No, she's just going out to let my phone pick up and send that message.
Okay. Anyway,
I've
so
gone into a pit and I can't get nothing.
so anyway, yes. So it doesn't mean that you're a completely new soul when I say you are. It was good to see you, Amira. Yeah, I think we're gonna shut it down for now. I think we need a rest. It's been almost 3 hours, and so we're gonna bid you all a fun farewell. I'm gonna ask you to show support for the show in whatever way, form, or fashion you can. Whether you're sharing our videos or whether you're able to go on Patreon and contribute, and you can find that information right below the video. Or go to mysticshadowinsights.com and donate through the website there if you would like to show the support there. But I love you all, and we'll be back in touch soon. For now, I think we all need a rest. And on the last note, Tammy says, if you have many lines on the palm, much experience. Little lines, younger soul. And yes, that means we've got a lot. But see, you've got to realize that to some degree that's true, some degree that's false, because age also puts lines on your hand. And so a person of our years would have a lot of lines because we're old in this life. And so that could be
I do not
misleading at times. Have a good day, everybody. Merry meet and
We love
bright
you.
blessings. We love you, and we'll definitely be doing this again. And you'll see Cindy Lou, Caitlin, and your sister, Delina, again on the show. And I'll be looking forward to that. And we'll be looking forward to that 24-hour Witchathon. Okay?
Oh my God, we've even
I
got
think
a
that'll be
name.
fun.
Wow, that's crazy.
Let's see. Take care.